And so, as you guys know, like when I was in university, I studied oceanography, and that was kind of what I did. It was my big thing. I don't know how I ended up working for a bank, but this week, because the weather's been nice, I was down at the beach with the wife and the dog, and some poor woman got eaten by like something in the seawater. She was out there swimming. She got attacked. She went under the water. Anyway, they managed to drag her out, but the poor lady had died. I think she was called Chrissy. And because they knew that I was an oceanographer on the beach, because I've been speaking to a couple of lifeguards, they invited me down to go and have a chat with them and stuff like that. And they asked me to have a look at this lady's remains and stuff. It was clear that she'd been eaten by a shark. So a couple of the fishing boats in the local fishing village, they went out to try and hunt this shark down in the North Sea earlier on. They managed to catch a tiger shark, which was just not what we thought had done it, but the local mayor was like telling everyone to go back to the beaches and trying to reopen it and everything else. So tomorrow we found this crazy fisherman who claims that he's a shark hunter, and myself and the local police chief, we're going to go out on the boat with him and try and find this this giant shark as well. So it's going to be a really interesting day, but we'll see how it goes.
I have nothing. I have no idea what that is.
Oh, Mike, do you know
Jaws?
It is, yeah. It's
Jaws. Is it Jaws? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen
How
Jaws
have you not
since I
seen
was
that?
like 7.
Oh man, I got Visionaire this week. He said, "Is this a real story?"
Oh yes, it's absolutely a real story. Then, if anyone thinks that's a real story, it absolutely is. That's how we do this now.
Yeah.
Oh man, J-Chef, thank you so much for the 500 lock J bits.
For Visionaire comes back and says, "For a second, I was like, Jay, what the fuck?" Yeah. Well, so I thought I'd try and spin it a little bit and make it a little bit more personal than the usual cold opens that we do. But yeah, I thought that was a good way of doing it.
Yeah, you're trying to fool some people now. Okay.
I prepared this week instead of googling worst movies at the last minute. I actually prepared this week.
He googled best movies instead.
And some bullet points.
Oh man. All right, so our pre-show is a little late today, guys, but that's kind of where we're at right now. We're going to wait a few more moments until some more people roll in here, then we'll officially get started. So we're just hanging out. As you can see, Mike is with us. We're having a good time. I think he's drinking, but we're not, which is kind of unfortunate.
I'm not. This is ginger peach sparkling water.
Oh, okay. All right, you're being like
Nice.
Slightly healthier now. All right, fair enough.
I'm drinking coffee.
I just have water. I'm not fancy like these guys.
Oh, J-Chef, thank you, man. Thank you for the 10 tier 1 gift subs. That's awesome. Thank you, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, man.
What a guy. You're way too nice, J-Chef.
He is incredibly nice.
Not like us heathens. Sparkling water is really good with a shot of tequila.
Yeah, sure.
And show you the other bottle.
Frostfire, thank you so much for that Prime sub, my friend.
2 years as well. He's on his way to his 3rd Top Clack baby as well. Not too many months away. 3 more months and he'll be there.
Does it ever feel awkward when we talk about Top Clack babies? Because I feel
a little bit.
I feel like it's a really awkward thing to say, and I don't like we always say it, and then I just feel like we shouldn't have said it.
I think we've gone so far with it now. We have to keep it going. I think that's the thing. People expect it now.
People just know we're awkward and strange, and I think that's okay at this point.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's
Trying to
the charm, right?
Jay, isn't it 2 a.m. in the UK? Yes, it is. It is 2 a.m. here, right? Well, 2:04 a.m. right now.
Yeah, Jay's a madman. Iwane. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Iwane.
7 tier
Thank
1.
you very much.
We haven't even done anything yet. We're just like sitting here twiddling our thumbs because we're silly. You guys are
telling silly stories. Yeah.
Yeah. Jay's actually been in the movie Jaws. It's actually happened.
Well, apparently Visionaire believes it. So if I can convince him, I can convince anyone. I feel.
Oh my gosh! Thank you so much, Iwane.
How does the movie end? So the movie ends with Quint, who's the seaboat captain who claims he's the shark hunter. He dies. The shark gets him. The oceanographer is called Hooper, and he is in a shark cage, and he tries to I think he tries to inject the shark with something. I can't remember the details, but the shark attacks the cage, and he dives to the bottom of the ocean. And luckily, gets away. And then I can't remember the police captain's name, but there's a police captain as well. He's on the boat. He manages to get like a pressurized bottle, like an air canister, in the shark's mouth, and then he shoots it with a flag.
Yeah, that's right.
And then then the oceanographer swims back up, and they paddle back to shore. But I think is it in Amityville or something like that? I think it actually takes place. The town's called Amityville or something. I don't know. It's a long time since I've seen it.
Chat would know.
Yeah, chat will know.
They always know. I'm just too terrible at movies. We still need to do a watch party in the Discord, I think, where we watch some classic movies. Because I remember we were talking about the Steve Zissou movie, Life Aquatic.
Oh yeah, that'd be a great one to do. Yeah, that would be really good. And you were going to introduce me to some anime as well.
Oh, that's right. We were going to make a weeb out of you yet, Jay. It's gonna be great.
Oh, When Creative Minds Created Me is Amity Island. Okay, that's so. I wasn't too far away, but yeah.
Yeah, Amityville's the scary horror town.
Yeah, I wondered why I had that in my head, but yeah, Amityville and Amity. Yeah, I could see it.
Deported Village Idiot says Jay would talk through the whole movie.
Yeah, well, if we watched anime, probably what's happening? What's this? Yeah. What's going on? Why is that character wearing no clothes? Yeah.
We have to. Well, hold on. Hold on now. We'll have to teach Jay how to read subtitles first. That's going to be the start.
Hey, I started watching Dark on Netflix, and I don't know German, so I've been reading subtitles because I don't like the dubbed version. It's really weird to watch the dubbed version. But no, I think Dark's really great, and I'm really into it, and it's not hard to read subtitles.
Yeah, there's some other really good ones on there at the minute as well. There's one that's called The Rain. I think it's Swedish or Finnish or something like that. It's some Northern European language, and that's just it's a really good show. But again, better with the subtitles than it is with the dubbed version. It's much better.
Dark, huh? I need something new to watch on Netflix.
Oh, Dark is like the better version of Stranger Things.
It's really good.
Okay.
Plus time travel.
Oh, okay. Anything with time travel, I'm hooked.
Oh man, I don't want to go. Time travel, like the show, is just messing with my head when I start thinking about like all the different theories they bring up, like the bootstrap paradox. Oh, it's just like, where's the origin? How does something actually start if you travel back in time?
Yorick says way better than Stranger Things. And Visionaire says, better than Stranger Things? Don't make me change my opinion about you, Mike.
I like Stranger Things. Stranger Things is like a good show for me, but Dark is like up here. Like it's out of the picture.
Stranger Things is the Goonies for the modern generation. That's my take on it. I think Mike's probably the only one that remembers the Goonies along with me. No one else will remember
I remember the Goonies.
I'd never watched the Goonies, but I know the Goonies.
I've watched one episode of Stranger Things so far, and that was about a year ago, and I haven't.
Oh, you should watch the whole thing. It is good.
But I've heard it's pretty fantastic. I'm so bad about watching like I like pop culture, like the new all the new shows and movies coming out that everyone's all hyped about. It's always like right over my head. Oh man. Kupacek donates 69 bits. Says, have a great stream, everyone, and shout out to Mike.
Coop.
Thanks, man.
Coop's such a nice guy.
I think there's going to be a lot of shouting out for Mike in this stream. I think that's just how it. Every other message I've seen is, "Oh my God, it's Mike." Which is fantastic as well. Everyone just loves seeing your beautiful, shining, bearded face, Mike.
Yeah, Tyson actually says as well, I know you put out an IC for GMK Stranger Things a few years ago. When is it going to run?
It was actually DSA Stranger Things.
Oh.
And
I remember that.
Yeah.
I don't know, I may pick it up again. But now that like I'm actually doing like real licensing stuff, I try to steer away from the heavily inspired by stuff.
That's probably for the best. A lot safer that way, at least. All right, what do you say we officially get this party started? Shall we?
Sounds like a plan.
All right, guys.
Sounds like a plan.
Don't do that anymore. Don't do that. No. Welcome to this week's episode of Top Clack, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Quakeums, joined as usual by my lovely co-host, Jay, and today we have a very special guest, as you can probably see on your screen. We have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mike of Novelkeys. How are you doing today, sir?
I am doing well. It's it's a good day. I took my twins up to the dentist with my wife, and we got up there, and I wasn't allowed to get out of the car, so came home.
Not allowed
Left
to
them
go.
there. Left them
Wow.
there, and I came home.
Just permanently left them there. Like they're never coming back. That's just where they are now.
Just
right?
left him at the
okay.
dentist, and he just took off.
Just left. Yeah. Just that's it.
I was not
No.
expecting this twist. I gotta be honest.
No, it was super quick, and then I came back and did some packages. But no, it's been good.
Awesome. Jay, how about yourself? I know it's very,
Yeah.
very wee hours of the morning for you.
It is, as always. It's 2 a.m. just gone. But hey, I have coffee, so that makes it all good.
Nice.
Coffee's the magic elixir of life.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but I'll give you that one. I'll give you that.
I feel like that right now. You ask me in 4 hours' time, I'll probably say something different. But right now, it is.
Once the coffee crash starts hitting.
Yeah.
Cool. So I was thinking we could start this episode off with something a little lighthearted, a little bit of a story time. We can do what our segment is called Our First Time, one of our new segments that we're starting. I don't have any banners down here yet. There's going to be banners for our segments, probably starting next week down there. We have our designer working on them. But as you guys know, I can't do any of that stuff myself because I am just an absolute moron. So we have those incoming soon, and that's going to be pretty awesome. That way you guys can see exactly what the heck we're doing if you're joining late, for instance. So I figured our first time today, we could talk about becoming someone in the hobby. And basically, how we went from being, the average keyboard enthusiast or consumer to being who we are now. Because we've been around for a while, the three of us, and we've had some nice adventures in this community. And I think that it'd be kind of nice just to do a little story time on here. And I think we could start out with you, Mike. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how your transition was from becoming a keyboard enthusiast to being the vendor that you are today?
They kind of went hand in hand. I've told the story before about like getting my 3D printer in from these Amazon liquidation stuff that I sold, and they kind of just went hand in hand. I wanted to make something with it. I saw that people had these keychains, and so I started I designed my own little keychain where you put the switch in and you can click it, and then I just went right into the rabbit hole of, hey, I'm selling these switches to, oh my god, look at this keycap set. Ooh, look at this keyboard. It's like, I think I can buy this keyboard. And then, man, time just goes so fast. From that to where we are now is just like, it doesn't feel like it's been that long, but it's been coming up on 4 years for me.
It's a long time.
It's crazy. Though. Can you remember what the first group buy you ran was?
First group buy that I ran.
Oh, he's digging now. This is going to be good.
In before chat knows. I bet someone in chat knows quicker than you do.
Someone in chat, tell us what it was before Mike does. That'll be the ultimate flex. Prove yourself the ultimate Novelkeys fan.
I think it may have been the XDA Scrabble board that I did with Jollymon, with Strata keyboards.
Wow. That is a long time ago. I remember that. That's a huge long time ago.
That was a while ago.
I think that may be it. I could be wrong. And then, man, I also have really bad memory. I have to write everything down. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's something like that.
Fair enough. Maybe someone in chat will be able to officially tell us, because there's some people out there that I feel like know pretty much everything. I remember when you were first starting and you had the little I think I still have it somewhere. I have to dig it out, but the little 3D printed 3-switch testers.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, those were those were adorable.
Yeah, I did those, and I went from the single slot to the 3 slot, and then to actually legit switch testers that weren't keychains too.
Yeah, that was an interesting time. I remember it must have been in 20. Did you officially become a vendor in 2016, or was it 2017?
So 2016 is when I was November 2016. I believe I was just still doing um, like Mech Market posts and just selling, and then like sending out PayPal invoices manually. And then I think it was February 2017 that I did novelkeys.xyz and opened up the page for the first time.
Man, what a throwback! I actually remember very clearly. We were doing an episode of Top Clack in 2017, back when it was Huey and Vector and myself, and I was looking to buy some switches, and I was about to make a purchase on, I don't even remember what site it was, and Huey was like, "Why don't you try Novelkeys?" And I was like, "Who the heck is Novelkeys?" And then I think I wound up buying some switches for you. I mean, it was all downhill ever since. And by downhill, I mean uphill. And by uphill, I mean downhill.
By whichever hill you mean good, right?
Yes, I mean the good hill. It was
Whichever...
the good hill as opposed to the bad hill, guys. But yeah, it seems like forever ago.
It does, and it's crazy just how much it's grown for you as well, Mike. I mean, if you look back to those days of doing PayPal invoices to now, what would you say is the biggest change that you've gone through in that period?
Oh man, becoming more professional. I
like the air quotes.
Because I don't. I mean, yes, I'm a legit company now. But you know, I still do my Reddit posts, and I still send out the same like updates emails, and I write them all, and I don't know, I'm not like, I don't have some person breathing down my neck saying, no, we need to change this, word this differently, you misspelled all these things, and you got typos here. It's just, I still try to do that, but I would say more professional in the sense that I'm organized, have a bigger space, and employees.
Very nice. What about you, Jay? What was your kind of journey to be? We'll come back to Mike, of course, because this is going to be stuff that we talk about in our next segment, of course. But
I think there's like 3 or 4 questions for Mike in chat as well, so we need to come back.
There's gonna be a lot of questions for Mike in chat, and we'll try to get to those as we can as well. But just for the sake of this segment, our first time. What about you, Jay? What was it like becoming something more than a keyboard enthusiast and consumer for you?
So where it changed for me was back in 2017, and I'd kind of always like toyed with the idea of streaming, and I'd got kind of like a few boards in already at this point. My collection was starting to grow, and I was quite often like taking like photographs of like each stage of a build, and then I post them on Reddit, and they'd get quite a few upvotes and things. I think most of those posts have been and gone now, and but I think they're all might still be archived on Reddit if I can dig them out. But that was going really well, and one of the UK companies, Mekanisk, they said, "Oh, would you mind having a look and doing like one of these sets of photographs of our new HS60 PCB?" And I think they'd got a prototype in, and that was how I got introduced to Yankar as well, and a few other people. I know Mike, you've worked with Yankar and stuff. I think he did the PCB for the NK65 and stuff, and yeah, I was talking with the guys from Mechboards about it and how we could best show off this PCB, and it was kind of like a whole UK project. And someone came up with the idea of you could just stream it. So the girl that had the idea was called Mel. So she came around to my house, and we set up like my spare or my home office as it was back then for when I was working from home, and we put up lights and we put up cameras, and there were these really cheap cameras off of Amazon. It was like the cheapest cameras I could find, and it was a case of, can we just do a stream? So me and her, we just sat there, and I was the whole gist of it was I was teaching her to build a hot swap keyboard of all things, and teaching her how to put the switches in and stuff like that. And it was the first time she'd ever done a build. She had a few keyboards I built for her previously, but it was the first time she'd done one end to end, and we went through the whole build, we tested it, and we showed off this PCB, and that was kind of like the first stream. And of course I forgot to record it, like every great first stream happens. You always forget to record it because that
classic
just slips everyone's mind. Yeah. So it doesn't exist anymore, so I can't show anyone, sadly. She actually asked me about 3 months ago if I still had the video, and I was like, no one ever had the video because it never got saved anywhere. And then that just became a weekly thing, and I did that for about a year, and then after that you reached out to me, or we started talking, Brian, and I think I'd been in the TokyoKeyboard Discord for a while, and then the next thing I know, it was like, do you want to join TokyoKeyboard? And everything has been
downhill ever since, right?
Downhill from there, yeah, right. In the good way, in the good way.
On the good hill, yes, as opposed to
Yeah.
the bad hill. Nice,
But
nice.
yeah, streaming was the big entry point for me, and going from just taking nice pictures, and not even nice pictures, like really shitty pictures, actually looking at what some people can do with the camera. I can't do it justice these days. When you look at like the Chris Swires pictures, and you look at Quirdenker's pictures and Cohen Romer's pictures, and other people up there, I can't compete with that. I take really crappy pictures, but at the time no one else was doing it, so I think people liked it, and that's where it all grew from for me. So yeah, long time ago now. Though. It feels like it was only yesterday, but it's 3 and a bit years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about. For me, it was a relatively similar experience. I guess when Top Clack started, that was kind of what I guess made me a little bit more popular within the community. I guess you could say I was doing things before that. I was doing a lot of Reddit reviews. Actually, I would just review keyboards and put them on Reddit. A lot of OEM keyboards and stuff. It was a very kind of beginner's take on a lot of it. And I was a moderator on Mech Market, which a lot of people thought was like supposed to be like a really cool thing, but it was actually like the worst thing ever. I absolutely hated it. And oh man, that was a dark time in my keyboard history. But yeah, so when I was in the Key Chatter Slack, this must have been 2016, and when one of the original Top Clack hosts, Vector, otherwise known as Apolitary, was like, anybody want to do a podcast? And like nobody, there was like 8 people in this Slack server, and nobody replied for like 3 days. And out of nowhere, I was just like, I'll do it. Like I like talking about keyboards. Like why not make a podcast or a stream or whatever? And so like we had a little meeting and we talked about like what we wanted to do, and we kind of started it. And we had a lot of people, a lot of the newer people might not remember this, but we had Man of Interest as our very first guest. And he kind of just stuck with us, and he just kind of became.
He just never left.
He just never left. He was on the first episode, which is like your first stream, Jay. It Lost to the Abyss. We thought we recorded the episode, but we just straight up didn't. And so that one is not in the history book, sadly, but that was kind of my transition. It was just becoming a streamer and a podcaster, because at the time nobody else was doing it. The only other person that really did it was The Board, which was by Flayrad and a couple other guys, and they had a very different approach to it. So it was kind of like a very new thing to the community, which was really awesome.
The board
it felt
still
really fresh.
The board still happens.
The board still happens. However, I think it's just Dawn these days. I think the other gentlemen have already left. And sometimes I actually I have the board shirt that has all their names on it. So fun little Easter egg when people see me wearing that. Today I'm rocking the Novelkeys shirt, of course. Which is vintage. This is the old logo. This is at least $1,000 shirt now, if I'm not mistaken. So.
The classic logo.
It's a classic. This is one of my favorite shirts, man. But yeah, and I remember going to my very first meetup. Not my very first meetup. Sorry, my very first NorCal meetup in 2017. This was a little bit after Top Clack had started. And I had like at least a dozen people come up to me and be like, "Hey, I really enjoyed the show. Like, thanks for doing that." And I'm like, "What is happening right now?" It felt so weird to like interact with people like that because I just wasn't used to it. I was like, "Is this actually a thing?" Because we just bullshit about keyboards for like 2 hours on stream. That's like all we do. But it was a fun time. It was a much simpler time.
The weirdest thing that happened to me from after streaming is I started streaming, and then I went to my first meetup in 2018 in the UK, and it was in London. And that was when I'd actually just finished the Hyper 7, which seems like that was like, I don't know, it feels like that was like 4 years ago now, but it was only 2. And like I didn't realize that many people watched. Like I was happy with like 11 to 15 viewers at that point, and someone actually came up to me and asked me to sign the back of their keyboard, and that was like just a real what the hell kind of moment. It was like, who's got the video camera? Who's pranking me here? Where is this video going to end up? Kind of thing. It was really, really strange and surreal. Very weird.
Have you had any experiences like that, Mike?
Well, the very first Seattle meetup I went to, it's I'm pretty sure that's. Trying to make sure I remember this right. I think that's when Rama came. Rama's Works team came.
2018, I believe that was the summer 2018.
And I think no one knew who I was, and I was able to like just walk around and just do my thing and look at other like keyboards and stuff. I think I gave you a bunch of switches, Brian.
I think you did. Yeah, you gave me a lot of switches. I knew who you were, thankfully.
No one did. No one else did, and that was really cool. And then the next meetup I went to, I think was maybe the NorCal meetup when I had the big switches for the first time.
I've just seen a picture of that in chat. Nebulance just posted a picture of that in chat.
Oh, that's the next year's.
Oh, is it? Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
That's such a good picture.
It is a really good picture.
So sad.
I forgot about that Kill Bill Deathmat as well, man. That's
oh man, me too. I forgot about that.
I don't even remember
if you've
that.
got one of them, I need to buy one off you. So if you find one of those laying around,
I think I'm gonna make some more of those. We had this whole Kill Bill themed keycap set that we wanted to do too, and then we just got busy.
Man.
But yeah, so then the NorCal meetup went, and then like I got swarmed by people. I opened up my backpack and had the big switch. As soon as I put the big switch down, it was like everyone swarmed around me, and then that's kind of how meetups have been ever since.
Yeah, I can see you definitely being kind of the center of attention at a meetup these days, in particular. I don't remember if it was the 2017 NorCal or the 2018 NorCal, but Cherry had representatives there, and you had the big switches out, and they were like questioning you about the big switches.
Yeah, the Cherry rep was actually the very first person to buy a Novelkeys big switch. Was a Cherry rep.
Wow, yeah. That's a fun little fact, actually.
I wonder if they were like, how do we reverse engineer this to make something good?
I wonder
why. He's one of the top guys there, and he actually asked me, he's like, how did you make this, and can you make this say Cherry on it instead? That's what he asked me. But he was a super nice guy. I talked to him a bunch later on. So.
Nice. All right. Well, how about we get into the meat and potatoes of this stream, as it were, something a little bit more intensive. And I'd like to start out a little bit, if you're okay with it, Mike, with talking a little bit about the NK65 situation that you kind of faced recently, because I think a lot of people might not be aware of kind of what went down and what you had to deal with and kind of how you were handling it, because it was a very strange situation to happen.
Yeah, so. I'll try to give some background. I'm really bad about telling stories, but I like to start with the background. So, we did the original run of the NK65 in unlimited group buy, and we ended up selling about 300 boards. I think I bought 400, and then we sold the other 100 at a different time. And it sold. It was whatever. Like even the extras from the first one, I think were up for a couple hours. Did sell out of those, and then I started working on the next round, and one of the parts that took so long is that we were working on the injection molding part of it, so the entry edition. And then I went ahead and I placed my order for now I can't even remember the full numbers. I posted them on Reddit, but placed my order, and I ordered 3 times the amount of what we sold in the first unlimited group buy. And then some people asked to check them out, and so I sent one to Nathan, I sent you guys a couple, and I sent Bad Seed Tech, Brian, the other Brian.
There's other Brians?
There's other Brians in the world.
I don't believe it.
And so I sent them out, and that's all I did. I didn't say you have to review them. I said if you guys want to talk about them, your call, whatever. And then COVID was hitting right around this time. So my initial plan is I was going to have these shipped by air, but they had to be shipped by sea because air shipping was delayed and also 4 times as expensive as it was before. So all these videos and reviews were coming out about the NK65 before I was even getting the product in, and so I think that was part of the problem, is that everyone was able to talk about it, and then it got some more hype. It got way more hype than I thought it would. Anyways, I list them up for sale. It goes live. The site is just like crawling. People aren't able to check out. And there's nothing I can do in that. Like it's up. People are just swarmed on the website, smashing F5, trying to get in. Sell out of the entry edition in 40 seconds.
Wow. That's crazy.
within 3 minutes after that, I had about 100 messages on Discord, and we had 300 messages on our support email. And most of them were pretty mean. It was like, is this a, can I swear in this?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
As long as it's not like too vicious, I guess.
Oh,
you can say the F word and stuff. That's fine.
Semi-Tim's all right. Yeah.
Okay.
Go for it.
Okay. It was basically just like "fuck you, you piece of shit" is a bunch of messages that I got. And then there was a couple that were, basically like "I hope your business burns down," and that was like a legit "I hope your business burns to the ground." Another one was "I hope you guys all lose your jobs."
Jesus.
And then there was one. This one's kind of funny, but there was a support message that came in and it said "shipping error," and I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, let me see what it said." "Don't have a shipping error. Just wanted to make sure you read this. You guys are clowns." I was like, "Damn, he got me."
Holy crap!
What?
But
what kind of freaking monsters are out there trying to get this board?
And then a couple 50 to 100 Instagram messages too, of people just like going off. I had one guy. I blocked about 4 people on Instagram. I had one guy who was just spamming. He was copying and pasting, just spamming. Just the same like "fuck you." I was like, I'm sorry. We tried our best here, but it's fine. It sucks, and I had me down. Like what should have been this really like, okay, so we have a board that people really like. This is great. We did it. This is a successful drop. Was kind of like, well, people are very mad at me right now, and I mean, yeah.
And do you think that that's because people felt entitled to get something, and that they felt that you should have made sure that it was enough to never run out of stock, or what do you think? What do you think the real crux of their grudge was?
I think it is. I mean, there's definitely entitled. If you send a message like that, you think that you are owed something. You think that
Definitely.
I owe you something. But then the flip side that I can understand is they think that I hyped this up as much as I possibly could when I didn't. Fun fact about Novelkeys: we don't pay for advertising. I've paid for certain things to be advertised, but I've never advertised like for. I've advertised for Star Wars products, but I've never advertised for anything else in Novelkeys. So I mean, it's advertising sending you guys board. That is, I guess, technically the advertising. But yeah, so I didn't try to hype this up as much as it was. We came out with a really cool board that was purple, and people liked it.
It was a great color, to be fair.
It was freaking
really
gorgeous.
Yeah.
But I mean, this should never, ever devolve into personal attacks and death threats, and that's just, it's truly asinine. And you know, everyone that's watching right now, I hope none of you guys were doing this, because that's pretty despicable. And I really hope that we can, like, I don't know, there's not really a way to solve that, right? Like, people are just going to feel entitled.
Yeah,
there's like, and there's no way.
And this is probably almost just like preaching to the choir. Like, everyone that's watching this is in the community and is like in it if they're watching us, you know. And it is just kids. It's primarily entitled kids who think they're owed something, and it's like if I could have, I would have loved to sell 5,000 of these in like one day. I would have loved that. I could have maybe retired or something, you know, but that's not what's happening.
And how did you respond to it, Mike? I think I remember there was a big Reddit post about it as well. So what was your take on responding? Did you want to respond immediately, or did you take some time to calm down and compose a response, or how did all that process work?
I do like to try to take time to like see what I can do, and not just be like based on emotion. And so I don't know. I try to be very composed, and I try to be very transparent when I respond to like any type of drama. Like there was the box switch debate, and I laid everything out that I knew about box switches and what we could do and what was happening on that. There's not, luckily, there hasn't been too much drama with us. But then with this, yeah, it was like I just thought about it, and I was like, people wanted to know how many boards we had. That's fair. They're not really owed to know how many that we sold, but what does it matter? They're sold. Let me just tell people this is how many we had in order. This is how many we sold the very first unlimited group buy. So I just want it to be like very clear with my I wanted facts and not as much emotion in making the post, and so people could just see the facts and then take it how they want to take it.
Nice. Yeah, it's really unfortunate that it ever has to end up like that, but I mean, all you can really do, I guess, is hopefully ignore the hate and kind of move forward at this point, because I feel like, especially nowadays with the community being the way it is and as large as it is, there's going to be hate pretty much everywhere, regardless of who you are as a vendor or a content creator, a designer. There's always going to be people that just hate you, often for no reason.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned before, it's very much a lot of the times a sense of entitlement, and it often is these younger kids that they're used to just being able to get whatever they want. They see something online, they should be able to buy it if they have the money, and it's rough because I think a lot of the people coming into the hobby right now in particular don't understand like the current state of the hobby and how we're kind of going through this transitional period to being a much larger hobby, to much larger community. But I think that we're not always able to keep up, like a lot of our vendors and designers, we're not always able to keep up with the demand of everything because a lot of these vendors they're 1 and 2 man operations at the time, and they can't crank out thousands upon thousands and tens of thousands of product. And it seems like so many people come into the hobby expecting just that, and anything else is just stupid or ridiculous.
And the thing is, like, it is never, when people just say just order more, it's never just ordering more. It's, you got to think about every part of the logistics there. Well, do you have the capital to order more? Okay, you got more capital, but do you have the space to store the product? Okay, if you have the space to store the product, do you have the manpower to ship out that much? And I was telling you guys earlier when we were getting ready, when the Silks and Dry series came out, I had more orders in 2 days than I normally have in a month. And so that right there, I was like, okay, so I did part 1, I had capital. Part 2, I had space. Part 3, I don't have the manpower. And then like it was all hands on deck. Normally our shipping times are 2 to 3 days for processing, and then we can get an order shipped out. We were delayed to about a week. And then that creates its own bubble of problems, right? So you have these delays, and then you have customer support emails that you have to take care of, and half these customer support emails are, hey, have you shipped my product yet? When is my product going to ship? So then, instead of packaging, you have to go back and you have to answer these emails. And it's like this catch-22 of like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? Do I ignore the emails? No, I need to answer the emails, and then just keep answering them and then hop back on the packaging. And that's, I mean, it's not as simple as just buying it. And then it's like, do the unlimited group buy. Well, then the unlimited group buy creates the issue of space. If you're doing switches, unlimited group buy, that's easy. Because switches are this big. You're doing keyboards, not so easy. And then on top of that, can your manufacturer keep up? So like the Silk and Dry series are both made with JWK. And right now everyone knows that JWK is booming and doing good. Are they able to keep up? And right now, no, they're not. I mean, you look at anyone who's selling JWK switches, it's like they're out of stock, then they're in stock, and then boom, out.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of JWK switches rise a fair amount in price on the aftermarket because of it too.
Yeah, alpacas and H1s and you name it. You look at the Switch, it tends to be up there in price.
Yeah.
But
Captain, sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
And so like that's, and again, I was telling you guys earlier. Sorry to keep talking about the same stuff.
No, you're good.
Go for it.
So we ordered the largest amount of switches that we ever had in our lives. And we're hoping that'll keep us in stock. And we're changing up some of the just a warning or I don't know, to let people know. Future versions of the Dry and Silk series are going to be sold prepackaged, so they're just going to be coming in 70, 90, and 110 packs. Same prices as before, just in those packs. Just so that we can ship them out faster to you guys.
Yeah, that's totally fair. Captain Ladies Man in chat says people are used to in stock for anything, e.g. Amazon. They're not used to waiting months or even years for an item. And yeah, that's what a lot of people need to realize, especially the ones coming into the hobby, is our community vendors are not like Amazon. They don't have that level of resources yet. I'm hoping Novelkeys is the next Amazon at some point. I think that'd be pretty cool. But
that would be awesome.
But it's like you can't expect this level, from within the community. And I wonder what we could say or do within the community to get people to realize that as they come into the hobby. What do you guys think? And of course, feel free to chime in chat as well. We want to hear from you guys too.
It's really difficult because I think the first part is people don't understand just how difficult it is to arrange all of the back end stuff. Like as Mike was touching on a second ago, it's not just a case of listing something on the website and then posting something out to a customer and putting it in a box and sending it out. There is so much more stuff that happens in the background, and Hypeslot mentions this as well. He says logistics are so much more than people realize. Like the whole arranging with the manufacturer, having it shipped, how is it going to get to you? Is it coming by sea? Is it coming by air? I've had stuff just recently shipped to me on a train, train from China to Europe. I didn't even know there was one, and then you've got to work out, well, I've got this number of products coming in this week, and that's when they're expected to be here. The following week, I've got these products coming in, so I need to make sure I've got all of the boxes, the packaging, the tape, the space. That I've got to make sure I've got the couriers ready to come and collect all of the parcels, and they know how they're going to do. I've got to find the time in my personal life to try and make sure all of this happens. And I think people don't realize just how complex that can be. And then if one shipment's delayed, and then you get 3 shipments all at once, well, you've got huge space problems. All of a sudden, you've got 3 deliveries that you weren't expecting to have together. You're expecting to ship out sequentially, and you've now got to ship them all out immediately. It's not easy to plan that stuff and to work it through. There's a whole raft of things that go on in the background that people don't understand. And on top of that, you've got to do all your business work, your paperwork, your taxes, file all of the relevant documents and everything else. It's a huge amount of work.
And then throw on top of COVID-19 on everything else. And,
exactly. Right?
Just sprinkle that over everything these days.
It's just like, at first COVID didn't hit us like production-wise. And then when Europe shut down and when like all these, because a lot of our planes would actually fly like China, Europe, America. Then everything's got to be shipped by sea, and sea shipments are delayed, and I got lucky enough to be put on some air shipments, and my sea shipment arrived quicker because airplanes stopped flying, and it's just, it's a disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, the original plan for Infiniki Grain or Gran was that we were expecting to ship it earlier on this month, late last month, early this month, and it was originally going to be flown across because when we ran the group buy, things were starting to look okay, and COVID had kind of freed up in China, and it was like, well, it'll go on a flight, and it was like, great, I can plan for when it's going to be in and all of that. And then all of a sudden it was kind of okay, so oh no, it's gone by train, and then there's no tracking for 3 weeks because it's sat on a train. You have no idea where it is and how long it's going to take to get there. And I'm still waiting for the desk mats now, which are usually the first part to arrive, but it's just crazy how it affected things. Like there was such a massive knock-on impact to delivery times around the world from everything, and I think it went sequentially. So China stopped for a short period of time, and then as soon as China reopened, well, Europe shut down. So everything that was in process and shipped across that first couple of weeks, that just disappeared and went into warehouses and into storage and all different places, and then it just didn't get out to vendors, to consumers, to anywhere. And then as Europe was starting to reopen, America shut down, and it's just a whole knock-on impact. It was like dominoes, one after the other, just falling down.
Yeah. And then on top of that, now we're gonna have America's gonna have some postal service issues.
I saw that. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
I've had a couple international packages stuck in customs for a couple months now. It seems
Yeah.
like there's definitely a lot of shipping issues all around the world at the moment, which certainly doesn't help when everyone's just trying to consume in their entitled mindset and give me my product now. And like Dixie Mech put it in chat, he says people can't even wait one day. We get so many emails one day after orders asking why it hasn't shipped.
Yeah, I can confirm that Dix is absolutely right. Like the number of emails I'll get from people that have bought a desk mat and say, "Oh, I bought this from you on Friday. It's now Tuesday. Have you not shipped this yet?" And it's like, "Oh no, you have to wait until November for this." People just don't. And you list it and you type it all up beautifully. You present it. You tell them exactly how it's going to be, but you still get those emails. Well, that's guaranteed every day.
We added one more like final step, and we hid. So Wendell, one of my business partners, he's a coder, and so he dove into Shopify's liquid templates and whatever, and we now have a little section that hides the cart for group buy items, and you have to click a checkbox that says, "I understand that this is a group buy and will not ship until the dates below," and you have to click that, and then add to cart shows. So.
How do I hire a Wendell?
The real question is, though, since you've added that, how has that been working for you? Have you noticed a reduction in those types of emails?
I think it actually has worked. We have it listed, please read everywhere, and then everyone just buys it. But this way, it's actually like, okay, I have to do one extra step to get this. Why is that? And so I think it has cut down. We still get them, but it's cut down some.
Definitely. Iwane, thank you so much for the 7 tier 1 gifted subs, man. Appreciate that. Back to back.
Second chunk he's done today?
That's his second set of 7 that he's done today already. He's an absolute mad lad, of course. But we already
thank you, man.
We already knew he was a mad lad. Thank you so much, Iwane.
Some say he's really cute as well.
Some say. So I like the Top Gear homage there.
Yeah, I was trying it.
I'm always a fan when we slip those in somewhere. Shout out to the people that read our YouTube descriptions.
Yeah. So what people probably don't realize is I put like loads of post-it notes all around my monitor and things that I want to say, and I've got like a couple of different things from Top Gear, and as I say them, I kind of like mentally cross it off and move on to the next one. So yeah.
Oh man, I'm trying to catch up a little bit with chat here. Chat is very active today.
People expect the Amazon level of service. They do, absolutely, and that makes it tricky for everyone. That expectation is what makes it quite.
Yeah, but I think the real question here is, Mike, is why are you not Jeff Bezos?
Well, I still have my hair.
That's a fair comment.
Yeah. That's true.
First keyboard billionaire, is that going to be Mike?
No, isn't. I would consider the Razer guy. I consider him the first keyboard billionaire.
Interesting.
That's probably true. True.
Is he a billionaire? I don't know.
He's a billionaire. Yeah, they got he hit the trace comas.
Wow.
2QT just subbed with Twitch Prime. Thank you so much for that. And he's asking, where do you get your unlimited amount of patience, Mike? Thank you for all your hard work, guys.
Well, thanks. If there was ever a stream of me answering customer support emails, it flows out my mouth and no one has to hear it, but my fingers do something different.
Is that I was about to ask, I mean, since you've became a vendor versus how you do things now, is there like a lot more stress now when you're doing this kind of thing? Is your mental a little bit different? Are you maybe a little bit more worked up because of all the things happening now? Or do you still find that you're kind of zen about most things? So I feel like every time we actually talk to you, I know it's been a while since we've had you on the show, but you tend to be pretty zen about most things, and you seem pretty patient and calm. And I wonder if behind the scenes that's the same Mike.
I mean, for the most part, I think I'm pretty calm, but I do get heated sometimes, and I mean, I guess who doesn't get heated? But
yeah, we're all human, right?
Stress levels every now and then I get like almost like pre-panic attacks amount of stress. That usually doesn't happen, but like once every 2 months, and it's kind of like when we sold the silks and the dries. One day I just had this like pressure of like, I'm never gonna catch up on these orders. What is happening? I'm just gonna have to close the site for like a week so we can catch up. And I had this like real bad tension here.
That definitely sounds like an anxiety attack. I can confirm.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you do to try and push through that? Because clearly you do. You carry on delivering, you carry on working. So what's your method of dealing with that? How do you compartmentalize it, or how do you let it out? What's your take?
Wholesome answer is that I have a solid group of guys that work with me. My two business partners, couldn't do it without them, so they're like my rock. And then there's my wife at home and my twins that are really great to go home to, and then there is a 6-pack of beer every night.
There you go. That's the recipe, guys. Have good people around you, have a great family, and a 6-pack of beer.
Kakan says it's not Bud Light, right?
No, it's usually an IPA.
Good choice.
Oh man, so I know we touched a little bit on it just a few moments ago, but I kind of want to talk about how your business has kind of changed overall during this, what I'm calling the COVID era. Towards the beginning of the COVID situation, we did kind of a specialty stream where we had Dixie Mech and a couple other vendors and content creators on, and we were kind of just prophesizing almost about like what the hobby would look like if this kind of went on, and a lot of the people were kind of under the impression that as online vendors, not really a whole lot was going to change, or at least at the beginning, it was seemingly so like that. And I'm kind of curious now that we're five-ish months into this kind of COVID pandemic in America, at least. What has kind of changed for you, and has it been more or less difficult just being an online business?
Well, when COVID first started, we didn't know if we were gonna have to shut down. So there was a little bit of fear of like, are we gonna have to shut down? We're non-essential. West Virginia releases out this news statement that says all non-essential businesses are closed. And I was like, oh crap. I was like, and then they said, here's the link to read more about this. And you click the link and it went nowhere. So like for about 3 hours until that link actually got fixed, I had no idea what was gonna happen. I was like, all right, we're gonna be shut down. Whatever, we'll make it. Whatever happens, we'll make it through. We have to, because it was scary to think about like being shut down. How long are you gonna be shut down for? But then, luckily, we were a small business, and it fell under an exception that we didn't allow public in, and we were under 5 employees, so we were able to keep going. In terms of actual impact from COVID, other than like supply issues, shipping issues, we've actually seen an uptick in sales, especially in desk pads. I mean, just kind of in everything, an uptick, probably around 20% uptick. Just because now everyone's working from home, they want to have a nice mouse pad, they want to have a nice keyboard. It just kind of, I hate to say it like this, but it worked to our benefit. In terms of like a business perspective.
Yeah, I don't think there's any shame in saying it like that either.
No, I think that's a pretty fair comment. I think have you noticed that you've had a lot more people approach you to run certain products? Like interest checks have come and asked you if you want to run their key sets and things like that. Has that kind of grown? Because we've seen the key set ICs grow.
We've seen a lot more interest checks coming out now that people are at home.
Yeah, a lot of messages, and unfortunately, like, I'm booked until almost July next year.
Wow.
And there's certain there's certain interest checks that aren't even interest checks now that I work with certain vendors, and I have them, or designers that I have like slots already made from, because that's what they do. Like some of these designers, it's their full-time job now. So I unfortunately have to turn down a lot of people, and I feel bad about that because some of them are really cool looking sets, and I'm like, good luck with your group buy. I'll probably join it, but I won't be able to run it.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the big differences between where the US is at and where the EU is at in terms of vendorship and size of the community, because you guys, 1 or maybe 2 GMK sets a month is kind of like seems to be the limit for most US vendors right now. Whereas in the EU, the numbers are significantly smaller, so it's easier to run multiple group buys in parallel. So like, my keyboard, KBDkeys, myself, or Blotsky. It doesn't make too much difference if we have 3 or 4 different things on the go, because when everything comes in, it's significantly reduced volumes. But now that that's going up and up and up, and the number of key sets, I think Bento was the first non-Mastrop set that sold, and it was through you as well, that sold more than 1,000 units.
Yeah.
But now that key sets, with yourself and Dixie especially, 1,000 units seems almost normal for every key set now. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, we're I mean, for the most part, on our like beep sets, our Blotsky sets, like people that we know just have like their own little following now. We usually price things at 1,000 MOQ just because we know they're basically gonna hit. And then where I used to price everything at the minimum, I'm now moving towards like 500 MOQ on some of the smaller sets. And basically, I won't take anything unless I'm gonna buy it out. If like for whatever reason it failed miserably, we buy it out. I don't want to have a designer go through all the work that they go through to be like, oh, I'm sorry, we were short by 100 sets, So we don't take anything unless I believe in a product, and we'll make it work.
That's very wholesome, man. That's really, really wholesome. And I'm sure a lot of designers would be glad to hear that. Even if they don't get a slot with you, it's good to have that kind of knowledge that's how you feel about it as well. That you're so passionate about it that you want to make sure that products get made and help people to have their ideas come in, to fruition and to reality as well. That's really cool.
Definitely. There's a question in chat for Mike, and usually I would save a lot of these questions for the Q&A segment, but this is a pretty good one that I'm curious about as well, from Petrov, saying, as a vendor but also a community vendor, how do you try to balance community interaction with different and hypocritical standards you and other vendors are held to compared to the general public?
Hold on, let me think about this one.
Sure.
This is a wordy question you threw out there, Pete.
This is a Petrov question.
This is a Mr.
He
P
likes
question.
to do it like this.
Because I know this is something we kind of talked a little bit about before the show, but your approach to like community interaction is a little bit different from a lot of other vendors, it seems like. See, a lot of people always kind of build up their Discord communities and this and that, but like that's not really your style, and you kind of just seem like you sit back and you do a lot more work as opposed to the community interaction aspect. But you do pop in from time to time.
Yeah, I used to be able to interact a lot more than I have been, just because we're busy, and I have to package orders, and I'm trying to get to a point where I can come back to the community a little bit more, because I used to be pretty active, to be able to talk and chat at least every day. I was trying to pop in for a couple minutes, and I feel like that's important, so I can actually like see what people are thinking about stuff, and like, oh well, your switches were okay, but we actually think you should go like this route. And it's like, it's important to have that type of feedback. But then at the same time, it's also hard to come in and chat, because a lot of people are just like, give me the leaks, give me your new products. And it's like, oh, I just want to talk. I just want to hang out. And yeah, I don't like having the idea of having a Discord is, it's basically off my radar at this point. I feel like it would, unfortunately, wouldn't be a place where people could talk like they do in the Top Clack or the Teal types Discords, where people can actually like talk and get knowledge. I think it would ultimately be, where's my product? I have a support ticket. Why aren't you shipping this out? And I don't want it to be that. And that's kind of why I haven't gone into a Discord, because we pump out a fair amount of orders every day, and it does create a fair amount of support tickets every day. And I prefer to keep those things separate. So like, I don't answer Instagram messages, unfortunately. I don't have the time to do that. I don't answer a lot of Discord messages because I have too many of them. But if you need help, like that's why I try to block off, like, this is our support section, and if you want to interact with me, ping me in the server and I'll try to talk to you. But if you have an actual support issue, go to the support page.
So do you feel like it's probably harder at this point to just be yourself in the community versus the way everyone now sees you as Novelkeys?
That's a tough question.
You don't have to answer, by the way.
Oh no, I'm just trying to think about it, like, and be honest. And I think I'm always myself. Like I was telling you, like I'm very straightforward and transparent as much as I can be. Especially like with my Reddit posts and stuff, I don't have like flashy pictures on there. I don't even I feel bad that my emails aren't like nice. They're just bullet points, and that's all I do, and that's because that's who I am. I don't invest money into marketing because I want my products to speak for themselves. I don't invest in, I don't know, other things like that because I just want Novelkeys brand to be Novelkeys and not something that's flashy. I want it to be, this is what we do and this is who we are. I try to do best I can in support tickets, and I try to put out high quality products.
Yeah, and it does feel that a lot of those support things you do, the Reddit persons, because I still read them, like I like to see them when they come up, see what you've got going on. It does feel like they're very much an extension of you and your personality, rather than just some corporate business front that they do retain that kind of personality and personal touch, which is really nice to see, especially the rate you're growing. So yeah,
it makes my product descriptions really, really boring though, because it's just like, here's the switches sold in packs of 10, PCB mount.
The boomer
and I'm not knocking
honestly.
any person who has that ability to like if you look at Daily Clack, he always has this really good he comes up with a lot of stuff on his own of like, here's this group buy, and it's let me give you a little story about this group buy, and it's cool, it's good, but I can't do that. I don't do that.
Yeah, and you shouldn't have to either. I think it's totally fine to take your own approach to it, and I think that's that makes it a nice kind of human aspect towards any vendor, I think.
Yeah,
and the boomer in me really likes that kind of cut and dry information, because like I don't really need to be fed like all the advertising. Like I'm not one of those people, so like just give me the tech specs, give me the bullet points, like let me consume all this information in a really timely manner so I can get back to doing something else,
Yeah, and it makes it I can give them out in a timely manner too.
Yeah. I try and do weekly updates for my site, and I try and do them every Friday, but just finding the time sometimes to sit down and go through each one logically and think, has that changed? Does that need updating? What about this? What about that? Just to try and logically sort everything in my head. That takes time. It's not a 2-minute job. It is, sit down with a coffee for an hour to write those updates. It's not as quick as that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people miss how time consuming the small stuff can be sometimes. Just doing the little things, the extra bits can really impact your workflow.
Yeah, as we grow, I've been trying to wrap my head around of like, how can we get more organized? How can we make things easier? And I did a lot of research, and we're actually now using this new program, or it's not a new program, it's a new program to us, called Basecamp. But it's basically like, so we got this group buy coming up, and I can actually, since I pay for it, I can invite as many people as I want, and I can have the designer come in here, and they can make the post for all the, here's all the renders, here's all the kits, and here's the pricing from GMK, and everyone has access to it in this like small little area, and that's something that I just started working on last week to try to help keep us straight.
Nice. Yeah, I've been using a series of Jira for the detailed stuff and Trello boards for everything else, but I need to take it all into one place. I think perhaps I need to have a look at Basecamp.
Basecamp right now, I did Trello for a little bit, and then I had too many boards, and they wanted you to pay, and then it was like per user and the cost just kept adding up. But Basecamp's kind of pricey, but Basecamp also gives you a terabyte storage that all your people can use too, not even just people in your company. So I don't know. This is not a advertisement for Basecamp, but I like it.
It's turning into one. I've got the website up.
Today's episode sponsored by.
Tell me if you get like a reference code, Mike, and I'll support you.
So, Visionary actually brings up in the chat. This is something I kind of wanted to touch on a little bit as well. He's asking you to describe your vision of where you want Novelkeys to be in 5 years, and I'd like to kind of add on to that a little bit. Kind of being a vendor in the community right now, like amidst all this growth, amidst all this demand, and the seemingly endless increasing expectations that everyone's seeming to have now. Like, what kind of changes do you expect kind of moving forward, and what's kind of your ideal outcome over the next 5 years or so?
I don't have like a solid plan,
That's fine.
but So we bought a building. Novelkeys bought a building. It's a 3-story building in Morgantown, West Virginia, and that's about an hour from where I live now. And I'm moving there too in March. It needs a lot of renovations. It's a really rough building. So the idea is that we're gonna have an office space up top. We're gonna have a new package area in the middle, and then storage in the bottom floor. However, my vision in 5 years says that place is going to be too small. So I would like to ideally turn that just into the office space, and then down the road, there's this like industrial park that I would like to get a warehouse there, to be able to package and actually have my own fulfillment center, but only for Novelkeys. I also have this, not to get like too, I don't know. I'm drawing a blank for the word, but here's my mindset about hiring people. I don't believe in minimum wage. I don't believe that any job isn't a skill-free job. Any job, whether it's packaging, picking up garbage, whatever job you are doing, you have to learn how to do that job, and that actually takes skills. This like mindset of anyone can do this job. Well, yeah, anyone can do the job you're doing too. Like, anyways, I could go on a rant about that, but I don't believe in minimum wage, and so if I hire anyone, it is going to be above the median salary in my state.
That's awesome.
And so my idea is to have this fulfillment center, not like Amazon, but like Novelkeys fulfillment center, where we can actually ship out our products and people are happy with their jobs, and that would be my goal for like the workflow of things. In terms of products, I'd like to have another entry edition keyboard out there, or 2 or 3. I have some other ideas for other peripherals that I've been working on. Can't leak too much because everything is so early that I could just scrap a couple projects, so I don't want to get
leak everything. Just leak it all right here.
I also
just bullet point it for us, Mike. Just bullet point it.
Yeah, just give us the email bullet point with every leak possible.
There is also a non-physical material item that we've been working on. So we hope to.
Non-physical, interesting.
Do we have any teasers about that?
Hopefully in a month I can give you a teaser. It's something we've been working on for over a year. It seems like.
Interesting.
No,
I'm pretty curious now.
I can't leak anything yet, but I'm pretty excited about it. It's really cool, in my opinion. It's really cool. But you'll see when you see it. You'll either say these guys are idiots, or you'll be like, "Oh, that's pretty cool."
That's how you know it's a good product.
It's gonna be, "You guys are dumb. Why did you do that?" Or, "Oh, okay."
People in chat are hilarious. Petrov says, "Is Mike releasing an album?"
Novel crypto.
Arcane says, "Game." I'm waiting for the Novelkeys game. That'll be pretty fun. Do you it's like a first-person game where you just walk around like packing up orders and replying to support emails?
It's like Overcooked, but with packaging. You just throw stuff in, and you gotta throw it at your person, and you yell at them because they're doing it wrong.
Oh my gosh, please. I would play that game so hard.
Absolutely. No, but I hope to be able to tease some of the stuff about it in about a month.
Nice.
Well, if anyone's releasing an album, though, that would be Garrett, because Garrett's put out already a couple of songs, so.
It's true.
He our anniversary song last year. Yeah, he entered that last year.
He's entered. I think he's entered all 3 years of our anniversry song contest. He won our very first year.
Yeah, I can't think of how it went, but the one that he did last year, I actually ended up listening to that on my phone quite often. I just kind of like put it into my playlist, and it just kind of playing up every now and again.
Yeah, it was like the parody of Old Country
Old Town
Road. Old Town Road. Yeah, Old Town Road.
Yeah, Old Town Road. Yeah, that was exactly.
Yeah, it was really enjoyable to listen to.
Yeah, it was good.
We are doing the song contest again this year too. That's going to be next month. So, Top Clack 4-year anniversary coming soon. Definitely don't sleep on the song contest. It gets better every year too. We get more people entering every year, and it's super fun. Man, I love it. I love it. It's like my favorite time of the year.
Mike's entry as well this year.
No.
Oh,
never.
You gotta at this point, right? Let's see all the musical talent.
It's like what's is there a saying? Dancing is I have two left feet. What's it for like musical stuff?
Oh
My
man,
eardrums are broken.
tone deaf.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So
it's turned out to be the word.
oh man. Dixie says I have so many keyboard songs written, just no time to record.
You
The
should
life of a
record them,
full-time
Dixie.
vendor, right?
Yeah, just get on it and record them. You should definitely do that.
Oh man, this is hilarious. All right, well
Fantastic
now
methods. Can someone ask Mike why I haven't got my 7V yet?
Oh, you know what you should do? You should tell me your order number, and then I'll just refund you.
oh man. Didn't you did that not that long ago, right? With someone that tried to sell like a group buy. I think it might have been you. Maybe I'm misremembering. Someone tried to sell a group buy spot, and like you found out and you refunded it, and then gave it away instead.
Yeah. I don't know if we're dropping names. I won't drop names.
No,
But,
no, it's fine. We don't need to drop names.
it was a more prominent member of the keyboard world. People would have heard of him, but yeah, yeah.
That was when I heard that I was like, oh my god, that's so Mike. That's so perfect. Like canceling an order and like giving it away or something. It's just...
And I mean, some people, private group buys are going to be like an area of tension for anyone. So like I can get that people will be upset that a private group buy happened. But on the other hand, private group buys are easy just because you know like, hey, these people are coming in, ship out the product, don't even have to worry about like these expectations. They know what they're getting. You know, like, and it was like this. It was a wholesome little group buy is what it was supposed to be. Like, oh, we're doing this. And you guys are gonna get it, and it's gonna be special. And then, oh look, you're buying 4 sets. Oh, because you're processing for other people. That's fine. You're just being a proxy. Shipping sucks. I get that. And then no, it was someone said, oh, I was buying it for 3 times the price.
So I guess this is a good time to ask: how do you feel about people flipping group buy spots?
Yeah, it's a can of worms. But if you have an unlimited group buy, more power to you, I guess, on some degree. If it's a limited group buy and your only plan is to flip that item, man, do something else with your time. Like, you could probably make more money if you did something else.
That's true. That's totally true.
So.
Yeah. All right. Well, how about we move on to our last topic of the day before our Q&A, of course. We have a keyboard that we kind of want to talk about. A keyboard that Mike himself is very interested in.
Yeah.
I think we all are, to be fair.
Well, okay, we all are, but I'm trying to be a little bit more mysterious with it, Jay. Come on. Anyways, let's talk about this interest check for the Alix 40 made in Tokyo, and this is brought to you by Tokyo Coffee Nerd, who is responsible for the Tokyo 60, which has had multiple runs on drop. But this product's a little bit different. So this is kind of a primarily made in Tokyo kind of affair with a lot of local manufacturers and such. And give me your thoughts on this one, guys.
I think it's really cool when things are like super well documented. I remember a couple years back when the key company shipped out Terminal, the GMK Terminal, and Jason took a whole bunch of photos and he was showing like everyone working together and like the whole process, and I thought that was really cool. They did all that. This is a similar thing, but it goes like to the next level. I mean, there's a video in there. You guys should watch it. And it's just really interesting to see all the steps that Alvin took to get this keyboard made, and the cool like underground Japanese manufacturers that he was able to connect with and ultimately make this really good looking product. That the dye job on this is unbelievable.
And that's the thing, though. It's the fact that he's got all of these manufacturers, and we were talking about this before the show, and you articulated really well, Mike, that he goes to one place and he takes some raw material and he gets it cut to size. Then he takes it to another place and he gets it sandblasted. Then he goes to another manufacturer and they dye the product. And you know, it goes around this whole circle. It's just it's incredibly impressive. Rather than just going to a factory and having something produced and dyes, have it shipped to you, and then you ship it out to customer. This is a whole. He's involved. This is a living process, and it's kind of evolving around him. And it's just phenomenal, the lengths that he's gone to get this product made. And it looks great as well.
And I see some people saying that it's expensive. It is expensive. It's acrylic board and it is expensive, but the big but here is just the amount of work that he did. I mean, again, it goes back to my whole, like, don't pay people the cheapest that you possibly can. Make sure that they make money. Make sure that their job is appreciated. And so, like, he's paying probably good money to have that CNC cut, and he's probably paying good money to have it sandblasted, and then he's probably paying good money to have it dyed. And that, I will keep going back. This dye job is phenomenal.
It's unreal.
Ombre effect, not just for hair, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to have to talk to him and see if I can get, like, a one-off NK65 or something sent to him, then he can get it dyed for me, because that is beautiful.
Yeah, this is pretty wild. So the first run is going to be limited to 100 units. It's supposed to be starting the end of this month at some time, but no exact date has been given. But this is quite something, guys. This is quite something. Are you guys in chat interested in this? Because I gotta admit, when I first saw it, I was like, okay, that's kind of expensive, but like Mike just described, there's so many processes that go through this. So many people working on it. It's going through so many hands, and there's just so much thought put into it. And like,
this is an artisanal product. When you look at it, this is an artisanal product. It's like buying artisan bread, right? You can buy a loaf of bread from your supermarket for $1 or whatever it costs, right? Or you can go to someone who gets up at 3 o'clock in the morning and bakes that bread for you with a nice shape on top, and they do it all by hand, and it costs you, $3.50 or whatever. This is the same thing, but for keyboards. It's a similar product, but the level, it's an artisan in its own right. It's the whole fact that it's hand dyed, and if you watch the video, there's some really great processes in there, but everything is so hands on. And as you say, Mike, it's supporting all of these small businesses to kind of produce a product that looks great. It looks fantastic. The more I look at it, the more I fall in love with this. And at one point, I was sold completely on the orange, and now I keep looking at the grey one, and I'm now thinking I need both. I can't live without either of them.
I'm doing the exact opposite right now.
And the hardest part for me is I don't think it's a layout that I would personally ever use. But man, I would love it as art, because I mean, it is truly a piece of art in my opinion.
It is, yeah.
No, it's beautiful. And there hasn't been an interest check that has caught my attention like this has in ages. And I think it's just all because it's well documented. It is so well put together, and then the end result is a unique design with this dye job that we haven't really seen before.
And to top it all off, he throws in a new mount style in there as well, because why not? Shock absorber mount. Just because he's done something super cool. Why not try a new mount style out?
Yeah, the shock absorber thing looks kind of cool. I'm still struggling to see like how exactly it works, but
yeah. So I think if there's a picture of the PCB, and you can see the purple feet on the side of the PCB, and I think effectively they sit underneath it, and it's a compressible rubber in the four corners and on the curves of the PCB as well on the Alice layout, and they will compress as you press on them. So I imagine it's going to be something similar to a mix between gummy worm mount or O-ring mount and burger mount. It's going to be somewhere in between, depending on how soft that rubber is. It's a really interesting take.
Did you just say gummy worm mount?
A gummy worm mount. I have never heard of that.
Is that actually like a community term right now?
Yeah, like everyone's been referring to it as gummy worm mount in various Discords recently. But it's just traditional 356 O-ring mount.
Yeah. I had a huge boomer moment just here. I was pointing to something like you guys would see what I'm pointing to. I was like, look, right here. This. I was like, God.
We're on the interwebs. No, I do that stuff all the time. I never make note of it, so people will laugh at me.
I'm sure there's quite a lot of times when I've been like, look at this, and I've been pointing at something, and you just not noticed it on stream.
Oh, totally. Welcome to live streaming, guys. So yeah, this is looking pretty interesting, and he does have an all 1U approach too, which is quite something. So he's kind of going for something. I'm trying to find it in the actual post here, but he says it's kind of like a mix between the Prime E and the Planck. So kind of that ergonomic 40%-esque kind of style where he has an all 1U version as well as this kind of all 1U except for the space bars version where he has 2 U's on both of those. So yeah, this is quite something. You guys both picking this up then?
If I have you buy this, yeah.
Nice. What about in chat? Are you guys going to be trying for this as well? Limited to 100 units. Pretty interesting stuff. It's also Bluetooth compatible as well.
Yeah, which is great. The other thing to say as well is Tokyo Coffee is genuinely one of the nicest people in keyboards. Whenever you see him around, he's just always positive, always happy, always charming. And I know you guys know him personally. I've never met him in real life, but he seems like a genuinely nice guy as well.
He is he's one of the nice, not even just the keyboard community, he's one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. And I can say that because I spent a weekend with him in an Airbnb. There was some whiskey involved. Take that however you will. And I can confirm he was quite a guy. Quite a guy.
Yeah, Alvin is great.
Man, the more I look at this, I gotta be honest. I know we talked a little bit about it before the stream, but with the grid keycaps, I really like it with the grid keycaps.
Yeah,
it works.
That is the best showcase of the grid keycaps that I've seen.
Same.
I think I'd agree, Mike. If you get one of these and I don't dibs on having the opportunity to build it for you.
All right, deal.
Nice. Cool. So yeah, that's potentially coming by the end of August, guys. So if you're looking forward to this, make sure to keep your eye out for it because could go quick. I don't know. We'll see. Do you guys think this would sell out instantly?
Oh yeah.
Pretty much. Do you think this is one of those products?
It's gonna go really quick. Yeah.
It's gonna be gone.
Like, if this is first come first serve, my luck's gone and I probably won't get one. Yeah, that's how I'm viewing it. Right.
People already setting up their scripts for for purchasing one.
Oh man, that's a whole different thing.
That's a whole different thing. All right, well, now's probably as good a time as ever to kind of move over to our Q&A segment. So if you guys have questions, particularly ones for the wonderful Mike of Novelkeys here, get those ready. You can use the @TalkClack tag in chat, and that'll help us pick them out quite a bit. And while we're waiting for those, we're going to talk about our sponsors for a few seconds here. And this is going to be really awkward because I don't remember if I've ever actually done a Novelkeys sponsor spot with Mike of Novelkeys in the same stream. So I got to be honest, I'm a little nervous right now. So don't make fun of me too much, Mike.
Relax, breathe. I'm sure you'll be fine. You got this. You got this. I believe in you.
I'm trying to make it a joke, Jay. Come on, get with it.
So am I. I'm trying to play along to the joke.
So one of our oldest sponsors, Mike of Novelkeys, of course, one of the greatest people.
He's quite young.
What? No, well, he's like 1,000, right?
All
right, I've already butchered this. This is already over. No, but for real, guys.
Next sponsor.
Next sponsor. All right, here we go. Novelkeys, one of our oldest sponsors, one of the greatest vendors in the community, I think. Most of you in Twitch chat can probably attest. Numerous things going on right now, as usual. GMK Bento, round 2 is up. I know a lot of people have been waiting for this. So now is a great time to pick it up if you've been one of those people. $125 traditional base kit. Can't really complain about that. And I see the checkbox now. This is fantastic. You have to click it to add it to your cart. This is genius. All right, guys, take notes. This is how it's done.
Yeah, I need to hire a Wendell.
Everyone needs a Wendell on their staff, apparently.
He's fine.
Maybe Mike will rent him out a little bit. If GMK is not really your thing, and maybe you're more of a classy SA kind of person, SA Skywriter is up for group buy right now. You can check out that right there, right here. Good stuff. Desk pads. Sorry, Mike.
I don't know if it's been announced yet, but all kits are already going to be made for Skywriter. It's doing pretty good. It's
awesome.
Yeah.
That's great news. Yeah.
Very nice.
Very, very nice. That's awesome. And of course, if you're a desk mat kind of person, there's desk mats for pretty much everything as well. That's just kind of the norm these days. And Novelkeys, of course, does a fantastic job of that. If you're more into some switches, a lot of them are sold out right now as far as the new Silk and Dry series because they have been selling like hotcakes. But there are a couple varieties still in stock. The red Silks are still there, 55 cents a switch. Pre-lubed straight from the factory, good stuff. Or if you're more of a DIY kind of person, you want to lube switches yourself, the Dry series, there are still some yellows in stock of those, and hopefully we get a restock of those soon because man, those were hype. These were pretty hype. Can we expect another shipment in the near future, Mike?
I'm hoping to have it by the end of September.
I think that'll make a lot of people happy.
News.
I think the real question, though, is, and I've been meaning to ask this for weeks now, is when are we getting the Gatoran restock? Because I think this is more important than people realize.
Yeah.
That I don't know. I haven't placed an order for a restock of them. We were actually debating about doing a in memoriam page for Gatoran, and then he would no longer be sold. But we may restock him. I've been thinking about it. He's pretty cool.
He's pretty cool. I like the idea of running plushies alongside things. And when you put out the Olive plushie for the Nolive stuff or the Olivia stuff or whenever that came out, I think that was just fantastic.
The Nolive and Olive with pimento is probably my favorite.
It's amazing. I've got Mekanisk at home and just pop it in and out all the time. It's amazing.
My son calls it a hot dog, though.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic.
Fair enough. Cool. Let's quickly run through the rest of our sponsors then. So on to the second one of tonight. It is Kono.store. So a few things for you to check out on here right now. They've got GMK Evil Dulch in group buy, as well as GMK Prepress or Pre-Press, and also Shoko Round 2 has just gone live. So if you're interested in any of those sets, you can join them now. Hold on. My screen just completely died on me. My screen went black for a second then, and then came back. That was slightly unnerving. Yeah, so check those out, guys, if you're interested in those key sets. As well as that, you can also rejoin any of the group buys that you have missed. They do have pre-orders open for pretty much all of the group buys that they've closed recently. So if you want to jump on GMK Deku, or if you want to jump on Hero or SA 2600, you can probably join it and grab an extra through the pre-order section as well. As well as that, they've also got keyboards available. So if you are interested in something that's kind of wireless, something that might be kind of good for a newbie to the hobby, someone who's just started, then definitely take a look at the Hex Gears Gemini series, the X1 and Adventure as well, because they're really, really good starter boards. So definitely something for you to keep in mind.
Definitely. Moving right along, we have KBDfans, who has a few things going on right now. As you can see, they have the newest interest checkup for the D65, which is a pretty interesting looking 65%. That should be coming in the very near future. Something that should make a lot of people happy, though, is the KBD 67 V2 Mark II, as well as the KBD 8X Mark II, are both up for pre-order right now. A lot of people have been really clamoring to get at these, and while the in-stock versions have been sold out, the pre-orders are open for a lot of the other versions, too. So if you're waiting on one of those, or maybe you were just not wanting to pay double on the aftermarket for them, now's a good time to pre-order them. And alongside that, they have the new group buy for the Elemental desk mats, which I just learned about today, and these are honestly kind of cool. And I like the idea of having an Elements bundle for a discount too, so you can pick up all the desk mats for about $80. So that's kind of cool. I'm gonna actually do that right after the show. So if you're a fan of that, that could be something for you as well. And they do have GMK Evil Dulch up there as well, if KBDfans is maybe your regional proxy.
Absolutely. Jumping over to our last vendor of the day, it is Mekanisk, the wonderful Leandron and his store. So in stock at the minute, they do have the Ultramarine stabilizers, that lovely color that he does, as well as the WT60D PCB, which matches pretty much exactly, go really well together. So you guys can pick those up now. You can also add them to orders. If you've joined the recent Clipper or Fiel orders, you can add them to those as well. And just bear in mind that he's dropped some teasers for a couple of things quite recently. So whilst the tin has happened, there is Series 2 coming. There is also a tinned TKL in the works, and he's also got that new color coming as well that's going to be exclusive to Mekanisk boards, which is that E Ultra Hot, a really bright, vivid E pink, which is going to be quite exciting to see, I think.
Yeah, the tin TKL looks pretty interesting as well. I was trying to... Oh,
right?
There it is.
Yeah.
I think that's going to make a lot of people happy.
Oh, yeah. I can't use 60s, so I can't do it. But the TKL I'm gonna pick up.
Nice. All right, guys. Well, let's skip back over to our Q&A segment and check out some of the questions that we have coming in already. Hopefully, some good ones for Mike, because it's rare that he's free enough to join us on a show like this, since he is quite a busy man. So we got to make sure we make use of his fantastic time that he's sharing with us.
Yeah, so Petrovets asks the first question, but it's a really long one, so I'm going to try and summarize it. And I think really what he's asking here, rather than read it out, is how do you pick the boards that you run? When it's something that maybe not everyone in the hobby is going to like. How do you decide which boards you're going to run? If it's something that might have something divisive on it, or it's not, it goes against the grain a little bit. How do you determine that?
Well, if they're like my boards, like the NK65, I just like 65%, and that's why I picked that. And that's similar to like my future ideas that I have coming out for boards, are just, I think, standard layouts that I like and that I use. I probably will never do a 60% just because I don't like 60%. And I feel like the 65% is already small enough to fill that need. But then in other terms, like I did the 7V, I did that because Gawk had his, I mean, he had it down. He had everything down like perfectly. And when he already did like 7 rounds of prototypes himself, it was a no-brainer to work with him. And he's very, very detail oriented, and was just really easy to work with. That's why I chose those boards.
I actually have kind of a follow-up to that, because I've always been a little curious about this, and of course you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but how do you tell people no? Because I feel like as a vendor of your caliber, you probably get so many requests that you have to turn down, you know, for one reason or another, and I'm sure all of them valid, but is it ever easy just to be like, no, I'm not going to run your product?
It's never easy to me, because I mean, this person is reaching out because they believe in their product and they want me to run it, and that to me is like, yeah, I'd love to be able to run everything. But ultimately, is I check out every person that sends a link to their stuff. I check out what they did, and I tell them either like, hey, I'm sorry I can't run it, I'm just too busy, or like, hey, I really like this and I wish I could run it, but I can't, I'm too busy. Good luck with your group buy. And that's kind of just how I have to put it, because and I do try to respond to everyone that sends in messages. I don't try to ghost anyone. Unless it's on Discord. I'm sorry, I'm going to ghost a bunch of people on Discord. I get too many.
I think it's okay to ghost on Discord, especially since you don't have your own server, if I recall. So it's people that expect you to be on Discord 24/7, I think are not in the right frame of mind.
Yeah, the biggest issue I have with having my own Discord for the store is that people will ping me or tag me when I'm asleep, like night, like this sort of time now. I will get a tag and I'll be asleep usually, obviously not on a Thursday because this is way more important than sleep, but I'll get a tag and then I'll get an email saying you didn't respond to my Discord message within like 3 hours. That's like,
oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Okay. Yeah, exactly right.
I think it's kind of interesting to think about, because Novelkeys is one of the more successful, if not the most successful right now, like within community vendoring. And you know, it's interesting to think that of all the vendors, you're one of the only ones that doesn't have this like Discord server. And it's interesting because I know Rama has the same approach. Rama's like, nope, I'm not making a Discord. Nope, that's not a good idea. And I think it's fun to think about, because a lot of us don't really think about a whole lot, but we spend so much time on Discord, and it's so easy to just get lost there. It's so easy to just get trapped and spend like half of your day just being on Discord, and you wind up like not being productive at all because of that reason. And I almost wonder if that, like, the lack of that attributes somewhat to your success with Novelkeys.
I don't know, maybe. I just think it would be a nightmare for everyone involved. I think customers would have these expectations and I wouldn't be able to fulfill them. I would be like, I don't even know. It just is like this mess that I don't want to get into. And I commend other vendors who can do it, because I can't.
Totally. Scurvy Sale, I think, with our next question here. What is competition like in the keyboard vendor market?
I mean, we're all competing with each other. There's no doubt, and we all kind of sometimes we play the hold our, well, what's the saying? I'm messing that up. Hold our cards close to our chest. Is that how,
that's right. Yeah,
sounds
yeah,
accurate.
yeah. Because I mean, there's some things like when I came out with the entry edition of the NK65, I had no idea that Rama was also doing like kind of their injection molding as well, and we both didn't know that we were gonna do purple as like our first my first thing, and so like yeah, we're competing in that sense, but for the most part, every single vendor I have a good relationship with, because ultimately we all want to grow, we all want to be able to keep doing this. We chose this job because we enjoy it, we like it, and we like the people in it. So we're not. I don't think anyone's trying to be like, I'm gonna put this person out of business. No, that's not like the mentality. The mentality is, okay, if he's doing this, maybe I should do this. If she's doing that, let me do something a little bit different and not copy off of them.
Yeah, that's actually been one of the cool defining aspects I've noticed in our community as well. Is a lot of the vendors do have a fairly healthy relationship with each other, and while the competition is there, it's a positive thing. And it's not like a malicious or villainous sort of situation where you guys, like you mentioned, are trying to put each other out of business or anything. Unless you're obviously one of those people out there that missed out on the NK65, because obviously all of you want to put Mike out of business.
But they should have got their boards, Brian. They should.
Yeah, why haven't they shipped yet?
Yeah. I think just to expand on that, I think it goes worldwide though, because like, I know you work with pretty much every vendor around the world these days. You work with Island KB and Candy Keys and My Keyboard, and we've worked together. And every vendor around the world kind of gets on. There doesn't seem to be any bad blood between anyone, and it's always really refreshing that you can just pick up and start working with someone on something new, and it's like you've known them forever. It's kind of like a fraternity in some respects. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Nebulant with our next question for Mike. Where can I send my resume? Nebulant looking for a job, apparently.
I haven't forgot about you, Nebulant. Just trying to catch up on some things, but we got some back end deals happening here.
Ooh, okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh no, my camera's frozen.
Is it?
Oh, yep.
It sure is. That's okay. It wouldn't be Clack if we didn't have some level of tech difficulties. Are you still with us in audio, Jay?
I'm here. Yeah, you should be able to hear me. The camera will be back in a second.
Yeah, so. We can hear you just fine. We'll pretend that you're not frozen. You're frozen on a pretty good frame though, so I kind of hope it stays that way, just because it'll be funnier that way.
Yeah, I'll be back as quickly as I can. Oh, man. It's OBS. OBS has crashed. That's what it is.
Don Bro Space with our next question: When shipping prices will come down for shipping to EU? I think he means when will shipping prices come down for shipping to the EU? When FedEx will change to more cheaper companies as before. I apologize. That's a really rough question to read. I feel like there's a lot of words missing there. But I think what he's trying to get at here is when will prices for the EU shipping come down?
Probably not anytime soon. We can't use USPS. USPS for international is a disaster right now. On top of that, if you're keeping up with politics any in America, USPS is about to go through some even more crazy stuff. Unfortunately, FedEx is what we're going to have to use. And ultimately, I try to view it as like, okay, how much does it cost for a plane ticket for me to go to Europe? And it's like, what, $500 to $1,000, depending on what you choose. And you're shipping something across halfway around the world. And I know that it sucks that you have to spend, the cost of the product in shipping costs too. But we have a really good deal with FedEx. And it's 2 to 4 days shipping time. I wish I had better news than that, but that is it. We can't do anything other. USPS isn't even doing like real international shipping right now.
Just as an aside off that, Mike, as well, I think it's worthwhile mentioning that when I buy from your site, it actually includes the taxes, the import taxes into the EU as well. So whilst that shipping price looks high, you don't get a surprise bill from the VAT and customs collections fees later on down the line as well, because of the way you've implemented that shipping policy.
And that's really saved us a lot of headaches, because some people don't know that they actually have to pay import fees, and so that's helped out with a lot of support emails.
Kakan is asking, Mike, did Jesus appear in front of you and give you the idea for the Novelkeys creams? He must be a big fan of the creams.
Do you know who actually gave me the initial idea?
I do not.
It was kind of you, Brian.
Because of the RRE switches?
Yes, you talked about those switches, and I was like, there's no other Switches that are actually being made it fully out of Palm, and that is how I started working on them. Is you mentioned those Switches, I looked them up, and I went with that.
That's awesome.
So now it's the Holy Pandas.
No. We're not going there, Jay. We're not going there, Jay. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. That's awesome. That's actually really cool, though. Those RRE switches are so freaking interesting. I only have 2 of them, but I still have them in my drawer over here. I've been trying to track down more because I really want to do a full build. But I'm definitely glad that you came out with the creams because they are relatively quite similar to the RRE switches. Did I ever send you one for any kind of testing or anything?
No.
Oh, man. I'm an asshole then.
You did.
Brian.
You can always bother me, Mike. Let's be real. Like if you need something, like let me know. If I have it, I'll send it to you. No problem. Oh man, that's great though. Iwade is asking, since Mike has the Star Wars key set license, any chance of a Stormtrooper round 2? Wow, an official Stormtrooper set would be kind of cool.
That would be really cool. Yeah.
I unfortunately am not able to talk about plans.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
That.
Big shout out to Upas. Sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say I still have the Star Wars license, so there is. I can say that.
The tease. It's like dangling.
So we can surmise without any information otherwise that more Star Wars stuff is coming.
Hey, I'm just going to assume that Stormtrooper R2 is happening. That's confirmed it for me. You know, whatever Mike says, that's confirmed it.
GMK R2D2 in the near future.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Or no, do a C3PO set and just have it just be all gold caps. a full gold set of caps.
Yeah.
Yeah, Upas.
It would have to be it would have to be a hand wired build too.
Oh my
gosh! So you can see all the wires underneath.
Yeah, and you need the spacebar would have to be silver because C3PO's got 1 silver leg, hasn't he? So yeah.
Oh my god. We could we could come up with some sets, guys. We could come up with some Star Wars.
I feel like we're feeding you some great ideas here.
Yep. Upas
big shout out to Upas. Yeah, let's get this. We've tried 3 times. Upas, thank you very much for the 18 months of subs. He says checkbox coming to Canon Keys soon. Right, he's already emailed
awesome.
Wendell. That sounds like
awesome. I mean, it makes sense, right? Like if people aren't going to read the things they're supposed to read, you have to make them read the things they're supposed to read before they can buy the product that they want.
Yeah, Upas doesn't need Wendell either. Upas knows how to program, so I bet you he's already got it figured out.
Typical, right? So my choices now are to either bribe you and Wendell, or to bribe Upas, or to learn how to code overnight. Yeah. Right. Okay. I see how this goes.
Arcane Individual is asking, does Mike plan on making a keyboard with the now popular Alice layout? Are you getting into the Alice game, Mike?
Maybe.
Okay.
I have a list of keyboards that I want to do. That one is on there. It's on my list of things I'd like to do, but I don't know if I'll be able to do it. But if possible, there potentially in the future would be a, aluminum edition. I don't know about an entry because then I have to invest in molds and it's an Alice layout. But I got some other things in the works first.
Okay.
Nice.
Iwade
comes back as well with the next question. He says, any plans for a Yok Panda plushie? Because you did those really cool badges last year.
I did those samples of the Panda plushies, and then I never did anything with them. And then actually, the Key Company and who helped out with that? They came up with their little plushies, and it was very.
Yeah, I have one here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very similar to what mine looked like that I got samples made up, and then since they did it, I just I just threw it off on the back burner and just didn't do it. Because how many Switch plushies does a person need, and would ours actually sell?
Like at least 10.
So I am starting a keyboard themed plushie collection. All right, and I am certainly going to be buying them if they're stocked. And I know there were at least tens more like me.
I could probably get them, if I do a restock of the Gatorans.
Yeah, you should do. You should do, man.
As silly as it seems, I really appreciate the plushies within the community. It's nice to,
It's
while
so
it is
cool.
keyboard themed, but it's kind of nice to see things that aren't just keyboards and key sets. You know, we get these kind of wacky, which is why kind of I mentioned this the other day, I think, but my like wardrobe with shirts are like almost entirely keyboard themed now. I own very
Mine
few
too.
non-keyboard shirts now, which is hilarious to me, and I freaking love it. And I'd like more things in my life themed around the keyboard community that aren't necessarily keyboard items. You know. Anyways, moving on from that. You Like It is asking, the TKC plus Novelkeys Olivia plus stabs, are they V1 or V2 C3 equals? I would assume V2.
I'm pretty sure they're V2s. I will just have to double verify, but I'm like 95% sure that they're V2s.
I would be really surprised if they weren't V2.
Yeah, because they went into production after the V2s came out, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't imagine that. Yeah,
It'd be odd to revert to the V1s.
yeah.
Also, there's 3 pluses in that product. TKC plus Novelkeys Olivia plus. Wow.
Yeah, it's a great.
It's interesting to read.
Collection of acronyms. Like if you showed that to someone who wasn't in the community, they'd be like,
None of that makes sense. None of it.
yeah. Is that kind of some like trigonometry equation, or where are we going with this? Yeah.
Viome is asking, what keyboard is Mike using right now?
I am using a key Colt.
Ooh.
Nice.
Cerakoted custom #1 revision 1.
All right, he's not flexing at all. All right, thanks. thanks for the flex, making me feel a little bad. All right, no
Out
worries.
of interest, what are you using right now, Brian?
I'm actually using a TKL myself here. I got a Real Force Round 2. So this is actually something that 159 of Project Keyboard bought me as kind of a late birthday present, and I didn't really expect him to do it, and then it kind of showed up at my door the other day, and I was like, the madman actually did it. He actually bought me one. So I've been rocking this, and I gotta be honest, it's probably the best OEM keyboard I've ever used.
Nice.
What about you, Jay? What are you using?
At the minute, I'm using I can show it this week, my Iron 165 FE with the Gran keyset on. So
Oof. Nice.
solid copper base. It's a huge.
I love it.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Boom.
Don't do that, Jay. Don't do that. Don't scare us like that, all right? I get it. Mellow Yellow is asking, do you see a possible market for selling group buy themed apparel? I'm personally thinking of snapbacks or dad hats.
Yeah, it happens. Like we see a lot of it already. Mito's even doing sneakers now, isn't he?
Yeah, we've seen laser apparel in the past in terms of shirts and hoodies, and I believe socks. I think were one of them.
I think the Key Company too is also, they do a lot of apparel theme stuff, and I think it does pretty well for them.
Yeah, Holy Panda hoodies, right?
Yeah, I feel like 2 to 3 years ago there was not a market for it, and nowadays it feels like there's kind of a market for it.
Yeah, and Dixie's been doing hats for a while. He's had those mecha hats for ages. Like he's been doing rounds of those for the past couple of years as well. So yeah, I feel like it's out there.
You can even buy. Just put it in chat. You can even buy a Novelkeys hat right there. Even Mike has hats on his store.
But if the question was more hinting towards like themed like laser ones, I think we probably don't see them as often, just because for me anyway, the normal merch and stuff that I sell doesn't sell super well, so I don't really put a lot of like time and effort into thinking about other stuff. I'd love to do a jacket. I'd love to do a different hat or something. It comes down to the time issue again, is what do I need to put my energy towards?
Man, if you did a really good Novelkeys branded like bomber jacket, I would wear the crap out of that.
And as kind of a follow-up question just from me, how do you feel about the overall trend of like key set colorways kind of protruding into other aspects of the hobby? Like, I remember, it was just a few years ago, it was, you always had a cable alongside your key set, and then it was like you always had these artisan keycap collaborations and a cable, and then now it's you have a cable in artisans and a desk mat, and then what's the next step in this process? Is it the apparel?
I think it would be the apparel. Yeah, I I think it speaks towards how good a set actually is, and like the actual artistic value of someone making these colors together. And then if they put them into other items, that it just keeps flowing. That it just speaks really well to the original colorway.
Yeah, seems like colorways, whether they're from a key set or a keyboard, have kind of transcended those products themselves, and now they kind of just seep into the other aspects of the hobby. It's definitely fun to see.
More posters. We should see more posters.
Posters.
Okay. Oh, posters would be cool. Yeah,
that'd be. I mean, as you can probably see, my office right now is an absolute disaster, and I have nothing on the walls. So some keyboard themed posters would be pretty cool. All right. Hype Sloth is asking, Mike, is there a reason you tend to run group buys more key sets than keyboards on Novelkeys?
Keycap sets are like a very well established known flow. You order from GMK, well, now you know that you gotta wait like 6 to 8 months to get it. You order from Signature Plastics, you know, like the time and the quality is pretty consistent from them, and so it's not like that much of a risk. And the prices are a lot cheaper than the parts for keyboard. Keyboard is a little bit more involved, especially higher end keyboards where you have weights, you have gaskets. A lot of these parts you have to source yourself from various manufacturers and then get them together and put them together yourself. That's kind of one aspect, and the other aspect is it comes down to time. I don't have a lot of time. I'd love to do more keyboards, but I just don't have a lot of time.
Fair enough. Deported Village Idiot isn't asking a question, but he says, I'm thinking beard oil, maybe the next big community commodity, at least for streamers. I mean, all three of us are rocking beards right now, so I think that's...
I actually just got some really nice lavender beard oil, which I can smell really nicely now. It's really relaxing, really calming. The wife bought it for me. Yeah, beard oil's a big thing.
I don't know if either of you guys attended the virtual meetup of Clack Fancy yesterday, but I was there hanging out for pretty much all of it, actually. And someone was asking a question in one of the chats. I was like, do you have to have a beard to be considered a male keyboard enthusiast?
Yes.
And I was like, man, it's so like, I feel like every guy has a beard in this community now.
Hey, yeah.
Beards are cool, right?
Minsley and April need to step up their game, I think.
Yes, yeah. I don't know if Apiary is still in chat, because she was earlier, but you got to grow a beard. You just, apparently you have to do it.
It's the rule now, yeah.
It's like a rule. Everyone has to have beards. It's the new thing.
Yeah. Also, in the Clack Fancy thing as well, that happened at, like, overnight for me, and you tagged me at like 3 a.m. yesterday.
Oh, I know. I knew you were sleeping, and someone even asked me. A couple people asked me, like, "Is Jay showing up?" And I was like, "He's probably sleeping right now." Shout out to Space Cables for the tier 1 sub. Glad to have you in chat, my friend.
Thanks, man.
Heck yeah. Maxed feelings for the next question. Will there ever be more of the upgrades, like the sound dampening material or other feature goodness, available separately for the original NK65?
The sound dampening, probably not. And I've been looking at different ways for just like a mounting system in general. Just started work on that. It is to be seen if my ideas can actually be backwards compatible or only compatible with products going forward. But if I'm able to come up with something that's pretty solid in my head, I have an idea, but I don't know if it's going to translate. Potentially. But the sound dampening material, it comes down to how am I going to ship it to, because it's a thin sheet of silicon, and how do I package that? How do I ship that? And what price do I put it at? And I got to pay for shipping to come up across. It's kind of like a logistics nightmare in terms of like cost and shipping.
It's one of those things that by the time you've spent all of the time working out how much you should sell it for, it's cost you a ton of time of investment that you could actually be spending on other things. I can imagine it's very difficult to price those things.
Yeah, because it doesn't cost me a whole lot to get made, and so I wouldn't want to charge a whole lot, but it is going to cost me a lot to end up getting here and getting out the door. And there's the fact that there's only 300 NK65s that don't have this already. Makes it a little bit tricky.
Yeah. At this point, it probably makes more sense just to focus on the V2 line, since there's going to be so many more in the wild, I suppose.
Yeah.
Have you thought about it? I know this is something that Rama kind of does, where he has multiple boards that kind of use the same weight / sound dampening system, and that way you can kind of he sells them separately. And I wonder is that something you'd ever consider as well for some of your boards, if you plan on running multiple?
I would absolutely love that, because it would save money for customers, and it would save money for me if I could somehow figure something out like that. But I don't know at this point.
Fair enough.
Captain Ladiesman comes up with the next one. He says, when are we going to see GMK Top Clack?
Can we call it GMK colorblind out of respect for me?
We just do it in red and green, and then you can't see the legends.
I can't see any colors, basically. These days, yeah, it feels like I'm never right. I mean, Top Clack does officially have a color palette right now. We do have a color palette we use, so that would be possible. I mean, we have all the codes, so even though I'm colorblind, it would still, in theory, be correct.
Yeah, and we have Mike to run it for us. I'm sure he'll find us a slot in like 2022 or something.
I mean, can we get the MOQ down to like 50? Because I don't think anyone's going to want to buy a GMK Top Clack set.
How many are you going to buy, Brian? Because I think I'll have to buy the rest.
I'm gonna buy like 10. You're gonna have to buy the other like 240. And Mike will be a nice guy, and he'll have like one personal set too, because he doesn't want to say it, but he'll be like, "This set is shit." No, that's an idea, honestly, that we could probably toy around with. I mean, we do technically have a color palette, so this could be totally done. I'd worry it might look too much like a lot of other dark bluish sets, though, potentially.
Maybe, considering that our color scheme is all blue. Yeah,
it's literally just like a ton of shades of blue. I don't know, we could figure something out, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, we can have a look at it. I think we should bring back the Top Clack caps, because after we had the new logo competition, I had some made up, and I think they all went quite quickly at Seattle last year. So we should make some more of those. Actually, we should get some more made up.
Yes, I'm totally in agreement there. We need to do shirts too. I was wearing my older Top Clack shirt the other day, and I was like, crap. We need to do some shirts soon, don't we? Man, it's rough though, because people say they want shirts, and then we do them, and then they don't buy them.
Yeah,
and that's been my experience.
Sell very well.
Yeah.
I did prototype shirts, and they sold like 4. It was like,
yeah. We had. I remember when we did our first wave of Top Clack shirts, so we like the MOQ was 100, so like we bought 100, and it's not like cheap either, so it's like you're like hoping people are gonna buy them, and like 2 people bought them in the first like month, and we're like, oh, nobody actually wants them. Anyways, moving along from that, Iwade is asking, or saying rather, Brian, I pinged you on Discord. Why haven't you responded while streaming? /s. So this is kind of a like throwback that I complain about a lot. Is for whatever reason, and I know Jay and we talk about this too. Whenever we're on the show, is when we get by far the most Discord pings and mentions.
Yeah,
like I'll get like 1 or 2 throughout the day, and then during the show time, I'll get like 20, and then I have to answer them all like after the show. It's hilarious. The timing is impeccable. I think people just do it just because of that. I
think they do. Like I got my queue of Discord messages to reply to, or people to reply to, down to 3, and I've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people to respond to, and it's 3:58 a.m.
Classic.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Akzot is asking a question for Mike. As a vendor, you are at the front lines of perceived QA issues with GMK. From your vast experience, has GMK quality decreased, or is it too high expectations combined with high scrutiny by new people in the community? This is a great question.
Good question. Really good question.
Yeah, I think that GMK is still really good quality. Now, their new trays, that's a toss-up. I see, yes, New trays are biodegradable. They're good for the environment. They don't take a lot to make, and in terms of like the impact of the environment just from making it, not even the what do you do after the tray's done. I like those. But the keycaps themselves, I feel like the quality has basically remained the same. Now there are some errors like Night Runner. That's the set, right? That was missing the actual stabilizer stems
the zero key
on the zero key. That's an issue, but that could happen at any time. It was just like a one-off issue. Spacebars having a warp to them, that has also been happening ever since I've been doing it. I pulled out Olivia round 1 spacebars, and I took a picture of them, and sure enough, the 6U was sticking up a little bit. Also, when people are taking pictures of pushing down on one side, that really exaggerates the actual curve that the spacebar has. I hate to go into a big spacebar rant, but
totally fine.
The stabs, your stabilizers are built with a whole bunch of play to them, and the reason they're built with a whole bunch of play into them is because spacebars all have different tolerances, and so they can shift this way, they can shift that way. And that's why stabilizers are the way they are, because if they were completely rigid, if your spacebar wasn't 100% exact, it wouldn't go up and down. But I think these issues have been here, but I think what we're seeing is a couple things. We're seeing a huge increase of people getting keycap sets from GMK. And if you're a newcomer to GMK, and you hear everyone talk about them, oh, they're so great, their quality is excellent, you're like, oh man, I'm going to get this perfect keycap set. And that's not the truth. I mean, the truth is the original Cherry molds had their own issues. The scroll lock, heck, if you look at oops, I'm still attached here. The scroll from Tarot round 1 still goes downhill. The 2 L's come down. I mean, that's been there since ever. That's not a new issue. It's just people are now noticing these issues because thousands of people now have the sets.
So some of those issues as well were even on the OG sets when the same molds that are used by GMK were owned by Cherry. You can go all the way back to those and still see some of those issues present.
Yeah, and so the main thing to me that it comes down to is the product working as intended, and does it look good? Because ultimately this isn't just needs to be working as a keycap set. You're paying for cosmetic issues too, so you don't want scratches on it. You don't want to see. Sometimes the keycaps will have a bleed through of the first shot sticking through. So those are issues that need to be fixed. But issues that we've seen forever. Should GMK work on improving them? I agree. I think they should. Does that mean that is defective? No.
Yeah,
that's
totally fair.
That's my so just as an example, all GMK keycaps have sprue marks on the back side of them. That is where the plastic literally is pushed into the cavity and fills the mold. That's a terrible spot for a sprue bark to be on in a keycap. They should be on the underside. But because these are the original molds, that's the way they are. They'll always be like that. But the amount of support tickets that I get from people who did not understand that and thought that these were all defective keycaps, I mean, I've gotten probably over 50 of those from the keycap sets that we've run. So I think people just have these different expectations of then what is actually going to be coming out.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, sorry to go on this. It is a hot topic right now.
No, it's totally fine. Yeah, it's a discussion stream. We're chilling. We're talking. Do your thing, man.
In the Olivia thread, I made a post about it too. And one of the other issues that we have is that GMK does not have a spec sheet. They do not have, or if they do, they haven't shared it with anyone. All vendors, every single vendor that I know, Dixie has, UPOS has, every vendor who's running GMK sets has messaged GMK and said, what are the specs for this? What is considered within tolerances? What is not? And we don't have that from GMK. So that creates this kind of unknown that if you don't have a spec sheet, how can you say something's within spec?
Yeah, I think that's something vendors particularly, have been asking for quite a while now, because it definitely puts a lot of strain on the vendor when they're not really able to point to something and be like, this is what it's going to be like, and this is what you've paid for.
Yeah, and you have that for your PBT camps that you run, don't you, Mike? You have what's what you see as within specification and what's out of specification.
Yeah, I made that up because I got the samples in, and I immediately noticed these things. I talked to the manufacturer, and they're like, "Yeah, that's just going to be standard. It's not an actual issue. It's the way that our process works." And unfortunately, on some of those, it's that really weird how they eject the keycap out. Actually, takes part of the plastic out of some of the stems. But that's why when I put the setup, I wanted to make sure that people were fully aware of everything that was going on with the keycaps.
Don Bro Space following up saying, question extension: since FedEx will be shipping company for a long time, will NK65 be Novelkeys exclusive, or will you sell a pack to EU proxies?
Once we get down the logistics of kind of keeping them in stock for ourselves, I will want to offer this to other vendors.
Nice. Static Age is asking you, Mike, when will you be getting a laser cutter?
We have a laser cutter, and I've had it for like 6-7 months, and that's how we were doing some of our switch testers. And then it had some calibration issues, and it became a point to me where it was a lot of labor for just one product of just switch testers. I couldn't even get into doing little kits. I don't have the time to do it. And that's unfortunately where it settled, was that we don't have the time to focus on that. We should let manufacturing experts be the manufacturing for us.
Viome is asking what switches, and I'm not sure what he's referring to. I think he asked earlier what keyboards we were using, so maybe we forgot to tell him what switches.
Oh God.
Oh yeah.
This is embarrassing.
It's okay. We're all keyboard enthusiasts, right? We know what we're talking about.
Take off keycap and check, because I think
I think I know what mine are, but I
don't know what you guys both don't know what switches you're using. All right, this is hilarious.
Yeah,
I love it.
H1's here. That's what I've got. I thought it was. I just wanted to check. I knew it was JWK, but I wanted to check.
These are a linear switch.
I love you, Mike. I love you. Never change. Please never change.
To answer.
I love it.
Yeah, I think it screams, but oh my God, and I can't hear it because my headset's on right now. But I'm pretty sure it screams.
Oh man.
We'll just go with creams.
That's great. I'm using an OEM Real Force Round 2, so by default I'm using Topra. 45 gram. This is a silenced version as well.
I mean, Brian, on a mechanical keyboard stream as well. Wow.
Hey, it's not my fault. You're not enlightened enough to use Topra.
Rubber domes. Yeah, okay.
Sophisticated rubber domes, please.
Sophisticated rubber domes.
I'm going to say this once and for all. If you think all rubber domes are created equally, you are not a real keyboard enthusiast. Are all MX switches the same? I don't think so. That's right. Don't at me.
Everyone's just going to say, Mike from Novelkeys says all linears are the same now.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Please, nobody clip that. No clips out of context, please. Zhongzuwang is asking a question to Mike. For Cat Milkshake, there was cart frozen issue that Novelkeys said it should be fixed, but the same issues appeared to lots of people at NK65 group buy or drop, if I remember correctly. Any chance it's really fixed now and we won't see it again during the next big drop? Cart frozen issue at Novelkeys, huh?
Yeah, if you notice the last NK65, it didn't have that issue.
Okay.
That we just went up.
Well, there you go. Fixed already.
Yeah, what it was is, before Wendell coded for us, it's a check to make sure that people aren't putting group buy items in with in-stock items, because if you do that, I have to cancel your order, because they're shipping out at different times, so you have to pay shipping for each product. But it doesn't have that issue anymore because we removed that third-party app and we just wrote our own, so there's no... I'm pretty sure what happened is it overloaded this third-party apps server, and their server couldn't handle it because all Shopify apps have to be hosted on their separate server. They're not on my site. And so now that we've hard-coded everything into our site, there's none of that issue.
Nice. Viom asking if there's ever going to be a restock of the NK65.
Yes.
on the way. Quite a few units on the way, if I recall, right?
Yeah, so the next up is going to be the E-Whites.
Ooh,
I should get them this month. And then near the end of this month, early September, will be the beige and another round of purple entry editions.
There's going to be a beige version? All right.
Yeah, I saw the picture of that. It looks really nice. Like, I wanted the purple before, and now I think I want the beige.
There could be some confusion. So I worked with another streamer, and I didn't tell him what I gave him. He did a charity stream, and I just sent something off to him just as like, hey, thanks for doing this. And I gave him a frosted, so just a leak, the frosted color of an NK65. And at that time, I had only officially announced beige and purple, and so he thought it was the beige edition. So there's a frosted edition coming out, and then it's translucent, and then beige is a opaque plastic, and it is beige. So if you go to the OSA sleeves page, that picture is of the actual beige keycap, or NK65.
Definitely want one even more.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna have to jump in on that beige because that sounds, and the frosted, man. I feel like I'm gonna have to get a few NK65s. I think that's
like
that's what I need to get. Like my girlfriend has been like taking keyboards from me because she's like trying to figure out, like, I built her a PC like a while back, and she's like kind of getting into it now, and like she's never like been a mechanical keyboard person, so she's been like taking keyboards like individually from me and like trying them out and seeing what she likes. And the NK65 I think is going to be one that she's going to really appreciate, so definitely planning on snagging one of those as a present for her, because that should be pretty cool.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's just it's
Jack
such a
Static,
good keyboard.
Thank you very much for the
reasons.
5 tier 1 gift subs as well, man. Thank you, dude. Really, really appreciate those. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Jax. Good to see you again as well. I feel like it's been a while since I've seen Jax around.
Jax is a good guy. He's a nice guy.
Indeed. All right, where are we? I lost where I was in chat. Give me a second, guys. Professional streamers, don't worry.
Next one comes from Stash Builds Board. He says, it's a question for me. He says, Jay, did you browse my channel? Yes, I had a look, but only a brief one. I need to look later on, and I will reach out to you tomorrow.
Some insider information, I feel like.
Yeah, I have no idea if I'm allowed to talk about it or not, so I better not.
That's probably the safer route, yeah.
Just stay quiet, yeah.
Iwan is asking if Mike is into artisans, and if so, what are his favorite sculpts?
I'm going to disappoint a lot of people here. I'm not that into artisans. I think they look cool, and I really respect the work that goes into them, and I have a few. But I am not a collector. I feel like that's a rabbit hole that I shouldn't be involved with. Because if I go into it, I'll go into it, and I don't want to do that.
It's probably the steepest of rabbit holes in this hobby.
It's got to be steeper than. It's probably steeper than keyboards, even, honestly.
Steeper than keyboards, steeper than keycaps. Oh man, it is so deep. It's so deep. Like, there's just so many of them, and like that I need. And it's not a want, it's a need. It turns into a need. And it's like, how do I complete this collection? How do I complete this colorway that ETFs come up with, or this sculpt that the alpha keycaps have come up with, or whatever it is. It's oh man, that keeps me up at night more than anything else does.
See, I thought this stream kept you up at night, but it's actually artisans.
yeah. It's artisans. Sometimes it is.
Dixie Mech says vendor coalition to create a market-wide set of standards. How interesting would that be?
We should work on that.
We should. I think it'd be a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Dixie with the big brain play there. Yeah.
Well, Dixie has a big brain, so that's how you make big brain plays.
Yeah.
Have a big brain. Sniper Bob is asking, does anyone think keycaps will ever be produced domestically in the U.S.?
They are.
Signature Plastics, yeah. Is based actually just a few hours away from me here in Washington.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
SA, DSA, DCS, DSS, all those sculpts produced right there in
And
USA.
of course, their most popular G20.
oh god.
Oh man.
Have either of you actually
Christmas
used a
G20
G20 set?
when, Mike?
I haven't used a full ski set, but I don't know if you guys remember one of my earlier products. I worked with Signature Plastics and got a whole bunch of blanks, and then I sold keycap Signature Plastics keycap profile sample pack. So it was like row 1, row 2, row 3, and G20 was just 4 of the same, in there, and those things are miserable.
I remember I remember I was part of the first wave of Signature Plastics grab bags. Remember when those started hitting the market? I got some in the first run of those, and I had enough G20 caps to outfit a standard 60%. So I did, and I'll never do it again.
Have you got a moth in the room or something, Mike?
I was looking to see if I had my my grab bag keyboard.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh,
but I don't see it anywhere.
I was kind of hoping it was a moth, just because Top Clack has a history of fighting moths.
We do, yeah. We have a big history of fighting moths, which comes because me having bright lights on and the window open, and it's dark outside at night, and the moths just come and try and hunt down my lights.
Yeah, for any of you Godzilla fans out there, I like to make the joke that he's always fighting Mothra in his office.
Yeah. Yeah, some of them are big as well, because we have the woods behind us.
One of them was huge.
Home. We used to get some really big moths flying in. Crazy.
Oh, man. Scott Water is asking, any more Novelkeys key sets in the works, especially OSA?
Nothing for OSA. Maybe a restock of OSA sleeves. I got some things in the works, but we'll talk about them in about a month.
Nice.
This isn't like Novel Pro or anything like that. This is just standard keycaps, but I got stuff happening.
Novel Pro has been quite a wild ride, it seems, but you're trying to make a comeback with that now, aren't you?
Trying to. It's still kind of on my back burner right now, just because we came up with the profile, we did samples of them in like high quality 3D printing. I typed on one set for a long time, and then I went to a manufacturer who's about 4 hours away from me. I met up with them, and they showed me the stuff that they can produce, and it was really complicated parts. It was a lot of like car parts where they had like when you think about a mold, for the most part, you think there's 2 parts, right? Top and bottom, plastic shoots in the middle, it fills in the cavity. Well, they had these molds that had like 8 moving parts, because it was I want to say it was a radiator reservoir for a car. Okay. So it had to have like the pipe inserts to go in there and have the plastic mold around, but then those pipe inserts have to come out somehow. Anyways, all to say, it was very impressive, and they showed me a bunch of stuff, and they're like, this will be a piece of cake. I brought them lots of keyboards and lots of keycap sets, and I was like, listen, these have to be perfect or there's no point. And they're like, we can do it. I was like, all right. So then we did the letter A, and we did a caps lock. And they sent me the first round of samples, and while the Legendine had a little bit of issues, like the A did this instead of was flat, it curved in. They were like, oh yeah, it's no big deal, but what did you think about the finish, is what they said. And I was like, that's the finish? Like, it was the rough, raw looking mold, like it didn't have any type of finish. And they said, oh, well, we'll work on that. And they sent me a second round of samples, and it was bad. And so they basically ghosted us for like 3 or 4 months and no updates, and then finally said, we can't do this. And that was that. So now I'm unfortunately not looking for anyone in the United States, because United States manufacturing is not that good compared to Chinese manufacturing. And I have a solid connection in China, and we've just briefly talked about the idea, and he's game to do it. So I think maybe later this year, maybe next year, we'll start pushing for Novel Pro.
Nice. I know a lot of people have been waiting on that. And I remember, man, it seems like it's been, God, what, almost 3 years now since I got to try one of your prototype sets at a Seattle meetup.
Yeah. It was supposed to happen sooner.
Yeah, well, that's just how it goes sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, I think we are fully caught up on questions, so maybe now's a good time to start heading out. We have gone over time a little bit, but that's okay. We had Mike here, and I think a lot of people appreciated that.
Yeah, it's been a good, fun stream.
Any closing thoughts,
well,
gentlemen?
I always enjoy coming on. I really do.
We appreciate having you. We'll have to have you back on again soon too, because I know a lot of people definitely like seeing you.
Yeah. Well, we will make a date, and I will come back, and then hopefully this time I'll have.
We'll have dates. We'll have dates.
Hopefully, I got some cool stuff to show off.
Nice. We always like the teases.
Stormtrooper round 2, right?
Yes, I need. Yes. please tease that as soon as you can, because like an authentic GMK Stormtrooper run would be really,
so
really cool.
Yeah, the things you could do with novelties for that.
Right?
Text novelties could be so good.
Yes. Freaking awesome.
I just can't talk.
I know. We all want you to, but we understand. We get it. We're just being needy, pestering people like a lot of keyboard enthusiasts tend to be. Oh, man. Well, anyways, everyone, hopefully you guys enjoyed the show as much as we enjoyed doing it. And check below the stream. You can find links to a lot of our outlets. You can check out our official Discord server. You can come in there and talk about, I don't know, cars or keyboards or your favorite cheese. Or you could talk about how beautiful Mike's hair looks today, because Mike has some pretty fantastic hair. I don't know if you saw it when he was turning around. Yeah, you gotta... Yeah, look at that. Come on, man. It's like Fabio over here. And what are you doing, Mike? Come on, man. Oh, Mike over here gifting 20 subs in chat. Oh my god.
Mike,
while he's on stream.
How did I do that while showing off my hair?
Oh my god, how did he do that while showing off his hair? This guy's actually a magician. Oh my gosh. Alright, well, Mike, thank you so much for all those gifted subs, and thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you guys have been absolutely slammed lately with the business and such, so glad to have you around, and it's good to know that you're still, within the community, even though you are such a busy vendor these days.
Indeed, yeah. Thank you, Mike. We really appreciate you having the time to come on the show today.
Thank you for having me, and till next time.
Until next time, guys. Oh, we gotta pick a channel to raid. That's what we do these days. We raid channel. Who's live right now? Let's go see.
Well, you're just looking at that as well. Just a quick recap that we do have upcoming streams. Brian, have you got any build streams coming up?
Yes, I still have several build streams incoming. What I was having issues with is the other day when I was setting up for a build stream, this was on Friday, I dropped my camera while it was plugged in, and the HDMI cable got completely destroyed. And thankfully, I have tested it. It does work now. Only the HDMI cable was sacrificed to the camera gods, so I have since bought several new HDMI cables, so just in case that happens again, I'll be prepared. But what I actually need to do is, in my new office, I'm not quite as fortunate in my room where I was last time when I was streaming, and the boom arm that I use for my camera has nothing to actually clamp to other than my desk. And unfortunately, when you clamp a boom arm to a desk like this, it just shakes a lot, which is kind of an issue with a build stream, and it kind of just, gives people vertigo, and it's just annoying to look at. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to build a shelf behind my desk, hopefully sometime in the next several days. And I'm just going to build a shelf behind there that I can clamp lights and cameras to and stuff, and then I'll be set up to do some build streams. And I have several incoming. One that I don't think I can actually talk about quite yet, but it should be pretty awesome. And yeah, that's where that's going. So I'm trying as fast as I can, but I have to get a shelf built first before I can really do a build stream that isn't going to be outrageously janky. Because otherwise, it's going to be outrageously janky, I promise you.
Nice. I've got a build stream coming up on Sunday. I'll be building a Satisfaction 75 for a customer, and also unboxing my FLX Flex Virgo as well, which came in this week, which I'm really excited about as well. So can't wait to show you guys that.
Nice. All right. What about you, Mike? Do you have any upcoming build streams?
Well, no.
All right, fair. All right, guys. We're gonna raid Tiny. Someone in chat said raid Tiny. I don't think we've raided her yet, so we're gonna go ahead and raid her because Tiny is freaking amazing. She came out for the virtual meetup yesterday too, so that was great to see.
Oh, bless you.
So
She's a lovely person as well.
She's amazing. So queuing up the raid for that, guys. Make sure we go over there, and in true Talk Clack fashion, we're gonna be wholesome. We're gonna tell her how fantastic her sculpt is today. It looks like she's sculpting some kind of keycap. So, we're gonna go over and show her some love. She's a great person, and yeah, let's go be wholesome, guys. Thank you guys for watching, and thanks once again, Mike. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers indeed.